Salute. Shout out to everybody in the building. What's up, what's up, what's up? You get right back in there, Miss Fat. What's up? You get right back in there where I left off, man. No, them haters ain't gonna like that. Hold on, y'all. Salute, salute. Y'all know I be having to get it right or it's just it won't be right. Hold on. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Thank you, Miss Pooh Bear. Gotta get it over here too. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. We got 5 officers shot, guys, in York County, man. 3 unalived, 2 in critical condition, y'all. It's crazy, man. It's everything we know, man. I'm about to show it to y'all. Give me a second. Let me get everything set up like it's supposed to be, man. Shout out to y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? The late night news. It's crazy. Make sure you double tapping that screen. Most definitely get those lights up. Hold up. Let me do this while I do this. Shout out to everybody in the building. We most definitely exercise the Fair Use of Act of 1976 for all videos played.
That the York County coroner is responding to the scene, so we can presume there's at least 1 fatality. We also received a statement from York Mayor Michael Helfrich, who issued condolences and thoughts to the Northern York County Police Department and the York County Sheriff's Department for officers that were killed or wounded. Now, Governor Josh Shapiro has responded as well, saying that he was made aware of the situation. If you look there on the side of your screen, there's a podium set up at WellSpan York Hospital where we are expecting to hear the governor. He has scheduled a news conference for 6:15. Obviously, we're a bit later than that. We've also heard today from Attorney General Dave Sunday, who also responded via social media saying that he was on his way to York County as well. Of course, Dave Sunday is the former district attorney in York County. What we can tell you at this hour, very little information has been divulged publicly. At 2:10 this afternoon, there was an incident along the 1800 block of Parr Road, that's in North Cadorus Township in York County, just southwest of the borough of Spring Grove, where several people, it turns out several police officers, were shot. At least 2 that we know of were taken to WellSpan York Hospital. We have been showing you video this evening of police officers from various departments taking an ambulance and escorting it to WellSpan York Hospital. Here's a look at the hospital and the helicopter, which also brought 1 additional police officer to WellSpan York Hospital for treatment. At the same time, WellSpan York Hospital was initially put on lockdown. You can see police officers on patrol around the perimeter of the hospital. We were told it was enhanced security protocol that has continued into this evening throughout the afternoon. Again, at this point, Spring Grove area schools, just after 2 o'clock, were also on alert, and they
make sure y'all double tapping that screen. Most definitely get those lights up, man. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hey, man, 5 police officers shot in York County, guys. It's crazy, man. 3 of them unalive, 2 of them are in critical condition.
Issued through their website and phone call to parents a shelter-in-place order. So students and staff were advised to shelter in place. Parents were also told that any transportation of students would be delayed. Well, that shelter in place wrapped up just before the 5 o'clock hour. Here's the video of that ambulance from the scene going to Wellspan York Hospital.
I'm in Texas.
Many different police cars from different jurisdictions on hand. North Codorus Township is in the jurisdiction of Northern York County Regional Police. However, you can see in the video there are police departments from a number of different departments. York County Regional is there, Pennsylvania
Waco
State Police there, and of course Northern York County Regional Police. These officers escorting that ambulance to Wellspan York Hospital. A spokesperson there tells us that those two officers at last word were in serious condition. Again, we have heard from Mayor of York, Michael Helfrich, and he writes, "The people of the city of York send our respect and condolences to the families of our fallen and wounded Northern Regional Police officers and York County sheriffs and to their agencies. York City Police have been assisting in the tragic situation, and the city of York offers any assistance we can provide to our fellow agencies and the families." Again, we do not know the specific numbers of officers who were injured or perhaps who have died in the incident. We also don't know anything about the suspected shooter. What happened? Why were police there? That portion of North Codorus Township in York County, very rural. We had our reporting teams there. We still have them there trying to gather information. It is basically in the middle of farmland. So we're hoping to learn some more information from either the governor and or the attorney.
They're going to give us all the details of actually what happened. They got these officers, 3 officers unalived and 2 in critical condition, guys.
For some reason showed up at that house. It seems to be a farmhouse along the 800 block of Har Road. That is between Emig and Seneft Roads, a very rural part of that portion of York County. Again, just a couple of miles away from the Spring Grove Area School District, high school and middle school, which I mentioned earlier, were put into a shelter-in-place order for quite some time as the police officers were investigating. Dozens and dozens had shown up. York Hospital under the security protocol that has continued. And again, the Governor Shapiro is expected to speak at the hospital. You saw the podium there. He will be there as well, and we're told the governor is making his way to the podium. And we're going to bring you, hopefully, the latest information. Here's from, first we'll hear from Pennsylvania State Police.
It's Pennsylvania.
Good evening. My name is Christopher Paris. I serve as the Commissioner of the Pennsylvania State Police. I'm going to address you this evening concerning a critical incident that's rocked the community here in York County this afternoon. The incident occurred in Codorus Township, York County. I'd like to preemptively say that there are many details which at this point we are not prepared to release given the ongoing nature of the investigation. That having been said, we would like to advise the community that there is no current active threat. The situation today involved law enforcement officers who were shot. I can confirm that the shooter is dead. I can confirm that there were 5 law enforcement officers who were shot today.
All right, so they unalived the gunman, guys. The gunman is no longer here. They have unalived him. This is crazy.
3 fatally, 2 that were transported here to Wellspan in York. They are currently listed in critical but stable condition. The District Attorney of York County, who is no stranger to this community, or in collaborating with the Pennsylvania State Police, Tim Barker, I've spoken to him. The Pennsylvania State Police has been asked to convene a major case team to conduct the lead in this investigation with the assistance and in collaboration and in partnership with the York County District Attorney. I can assure you that all of the resources of the Pennsylvania State Police are being brought to bear. There is still very much an active scene at Codorus Township, York County. Later this evening,
what's up, Jesse?
The District Attorney will have more information to release. I can tell you that the Pennsylvania State Police have taken over calls for service for the Northern York Regional Police Department, and we will continue to do so to support our partners. I can tell you that I've spoken to the Special Agent in charge of the FBI out of Philadelphia, our municipal partners and county partners here in York County, and we've received multiple offers of assistance from our fellow state partners to include New Jersey and York. But we have a very large investigative scene. In being here today with our law enforcement family for the second time in
Hey,
2025,
blessed to be blessings.
I'd just like to say on a very personal note, our hearts and prayers go out to them, to the families of the deceased and the families of those officers who were wounded. There are simply no words that I can offer to assuage the grief that this community has experienced and unfortunately will continue to experience.
Yeah, Trump needs to send in
The
the
grief will
National
be
Guard.
unbearable, but we will bear it. So we stand here today united for our partners all across the law enforcement spectrum, and we will not rest until we've conducted a full, fair, competent, and thorough investigation into this matter. Lastly, I would simply ask to the community here in York County and beyond, all across Pennsylvania and all across our nation, if you could keep the families that were touched by this tragedy today in your thoughts and prayers. Please give them a solemn thought. And to the women and men who are working diligently right now to push this incident forward and the investigation forward and the aftermath that will have to be dealt with and persevered through, our hearts and prayers are with them. Thank you very much. I'll now turn it over to Governor Shapiro.
Breaking news, guys.
This
Five
is an
officers
absolutely
injured,
tragic and devastating
three
day
unalived.
for
Three
York County
officers unalived.
and for
Thank
the
you,
entire
guys,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
everywhere. Two in
Grieve
critical condition.
for the loss of life.
Three officers unalived and two in critical condition in York County, Pennsylvania, guys. Yeah, man, it's most definitely sad, guys. They're giving us details right now.
For three precious souls who served this county, served this Commonwealth, and served this country. And we continue to pray for the full recovery of those who are dealing with their wounds. This, of course, is on the heels of just a few months ago when we lost another York County son, Officer Duarte, who again gave his life in the line of service. I had the opportunity with the Lieutenant Governor and with Senator Phillips Hill, Representative Grove, and your three county commissioners to spend some time with the families of those who have been impacted by this violence today. I think it's important for you to know that these families who are dealing with, they're grieving right now and they're suffering right now, took time to tell us how proud they are of their loved ones who put on a uniform to keep us safe. It's an extraordinary thing that these law enforcement families do. They support the individual who puts on the uniform and runs toward danger. They're there for them when they leave in the morning, and they pray throughout the day that they will come home at night. So I hope as this community comes together, as I know it knows how to do, and prays, that we think not just about those who wear the uniform, but those who stand behind and next to those who wear the uniform every day. These families are extraordinary, and I hope you'll join me in prayer for them. I had some time to spend with the law enforcement who are gathered here today, who ran here because they knew that their brothers in uniform were in danger.
He giving us a prayer about to put me to sleep.
Thank you, Governor.
These are the details.
I share your thoughts and prayers for the officers that were lost today, the officers who were injured, and every law enforcement person across this great Commonwealth. We are unfortunately here again in York County because of gun violence, the issue that brought me to public service. I want everyone to know today is not just a devastating day for this community in this region, it's a devastating day for our entire Commonwealth. My wife Blair and our entire family join in the prayers of, I believe, 13 million Pennsylvanians who are praying for the officers and their families today. You know, we ask a lot of police officers in our communities, and they always run towards danger. I think we all have a responsibility to continuously do our part to make our community safer. I know I'm going to continue to do my part, and we are consistently grateful for the commitment and the sacrifice that our law enforcement officers make. We're grateful for the healthcare professionals who run towards danger to aid folks in their time of need, and we're so grateful for the work that they've done today. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Carney from WellSpan Health, who'll provide an update from the medical perspective.
So we received 2 gunshot wound victims from the scene. We immediately took them to the OR. They are both in critical but stable condition currently.
So 2 of the officers are in critical but stable condition right now.
Trauma centers are a resource for the community. We're here when you need us, and we enjoy the support of both the local government, state government, and our administration. Thank you.
Why didn't say nothing about the 3
So at this
that was
point,
unalived?
I would open it up to a few brief questions, however, prefacing that with the fact that the information we can provide is extremely limited. Sir?
Did you say this was, the officers involved are from Northern New York?
I did not say, and that was intentionally done so. Obviously, we know who they are and who they work for. Our concern is that there are some investigative steps that we're taking right now, and at the request of the district attorney, we're withholding that information.
Do you know what the district attorney plans to release?
I've spoken to District Attorney Barker. I know there are a lot of things going on right now, but at some point, I know he will brief the media. Sir?
The circumstances surrounding while those officers were there was they were serving a warrant of some sort of PFA?
So they were there to follow up on an investigation that began yesterday. The general heading of that investigation, I would say, would be admitted, but beyond that, the facts and circumstances, we have more information, but pending the search warrants that we're currently
tight-lipped, guys.
typing up and serving, we want to hold that information any more specificity.
So which department they were with, the officers?
No, I did not. So we're going to, at this point, say that the 5 law enforcement officers in York County, and we're going to leave it there, and I'm going to defer to the district attorney, Tim Barker.
I just want to be clear, so there were 5 law enforcement shot, 3 of them killed, 2 in critical here in this hospital, but then the shooter was also killed, is that the number?
Correct. Those numbers are correct, sir.
Are there no suspects involved?
At this point, we believe that the community is safe, but we're leaving no stone unturned, and we're going to run every lead down. But I don't have that for you.
Do you know if SWAT was called in?
I'm not prepared to release that. Like I said, I'll defer to the district attorney. Sir?
Have we heard anything as far as weapons or what exactly happened when they arrived?
I don't
No.
know why I missed
we
that.
have, but not that I can confirm.
They aren't telling too much of anything right now, guys. Just basically telling us that in York County, Pennsylvania, 3 officers were unalived and 2 were injured, and the suspect is most definitely been taken out the game. He's unalive as well. But that's pretty much all they tell him.
With any specificity that I would be concerned, we would have to backtrack on later. So I'm very much processing a large scene. I will confirm that it is a large scene. Members of the PSP Forensic Services Unit are down there mapping it right now. It's still very much an active scene. It is secure, and we believe, just to reiterate, there's no threat to the community.
There's a couple more questions here. Was he shot by police or did he shoot?
He was shot by police.
Can you confirm the address or the block number of the scene?
No, not at this time.
Governor, can I get your thoughts on earlier today you were in Chester?
Kids say the police was trying to serve a warrant, and allegedly the suspect wasn't having it, according to the kid. So we're going to put allegedly on it until we hear something different.
Trumpeting the fact that violent crime had actually been reduced there, what your day, how you would sum up your day after that, and then here you are now.
Well, look, this isn't about me or my emotions. I think this is just about a grieving community, and I wanted to be here with this community. I want law enforcement to know how much we care about them and respect them. I want this hospital team to know how much they matter in this community. And most importantly, I want these families to know that we're all grieving with them and praying for them and that they're not alone. Thank you all very much.
Thank you guys.
All right, so that was so much of that. So maybe God give us some more details.
Where the shooting happened in North Cadorus Township. Pennsylvania State Police also say the major case team will be on hand to help investigate, and he asked that People keep their families in their thoughts and prayers. Governor Shapiro also calling it a tragic and devastating day for York County. And that comes on the heels of the shooting death of West York police officer Andrew Duarte at UPMC Medical Center in February. The governor says he did spend time with families along with some local state lawmakers at Wellspan York Hospital. He too asking for prayers as well. And he thanked the healthcare providers.
Get over here.
That's right, Evan. I'm right now on Toman Road where I can see that the scene is still very active and it's going on. So I am right here. And if I just take a step away, you can still see that there is tons of people still clearing this area of Toman Road and of Har Road to be exact. But neighbors have been telling me that they saw the helicopter land right in their backyard. They didn't know what was going on. Only one neighbor said that they heard the active scene unfolding while others weren't really paying attention. They also told me they believe that the family in that red house up there, they believe was not there at the time of the shooting. So there are still many details that are needing to be cleared up and unfold as the evening goes out, and we will keep you updated on the latest throughout the night.
All right, we certainly will. Thank you very much. Fox 43 is now the Corona. She's live in North Cadorus Township, York County, near the scene of that shooting that happened at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We also have another Fox 43 crew that has been on the scene throughout the afternoon as well. Fox 43's Melena Brown was in North Cadorus Township. She has now moved to Wellspan York Hospital and was there as the governor and the state police commissioner just spoke. We're going to head to her for recap.
This is in York County, Pennsylvania, guys. York County, Pennsylvania. 5 officers shot, 3 unalived, and 2 in critical condition, guys.
What happened and what was said. Melena?
That is absolutely correct, Evan. It just wrapped up here hearing from Governor Josh Shapiro as well as Pennsylvania State Police. What we learned just moments ago, unfortunately, there were 5 officers shot in this incident. 3 are dead and 2 others are in critical but stable condition here at Wellspan Health. The governor got up, said it was a completely devastating day here for York County and the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And he said on behalf of the Commonwealth, he wanted to thank those who wore the uniform of law enforcement and healthcare. We also heard again from PSP, who was able to answer some of the questions that we had here today, but also keeping some of those details close as this is still an active investigation. But he did want to make sure that people knew at home that this is not an active scene. It is under control and there is no threat to the community at this time. He also said that, other law enforcement agencies have asked or offered their support. We also heard that the AG Pam Bondi also reached out to Governor Shapiro to speak to him and offer the federal support as well. So there is quite a bit of different officials operating in this, working in this, offering their support to the folks here in York County. A lot going on and a lot still to learn. We did also learn that the shooter is dead and he was shot by police, and this is believed to have started yesterday and stemmed from some sort of domestic incident. And again, waiting to hear more, learn more as they are able to reveal details to us, but at this time it is still an active investigation.
Wow, y'all, prayers for the
Good
families,
update. Melena
guys.
Brown
Prayers
is live at Wellspan York Hospital in York. Thank you very much, Melena. And again, it is very much an active investigation. In fact, the investigation really is just now getting underway, and Pennsylvania State Police is going to take the lead in a lot of it. And we can tell you that while the Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner did not want to make reference to the police departments involved, we can tell you that York Mayor Michael Helfrich did put out on social media the thoughts and prayers go to the Northern York County Regional Police Department and the York County Sheriff's Department as well. So while police and the state police are not talking about the agencies involved, the York Mayor has already put out those 2 agencies as being part of what happened today. And again, the investigation will continue. We're to hear more from York County District Attorney Tim Barker. We do not know whether that's going to happen tonight or going forward, but we will certainly keep you updated when we get it. You can always stay.
All right, y'all. So we got the gist. 5 officers shot, 3 unalived, 2 in critical condition. And hey, y'all, they had a motorcade for these fallen officers. Prayers for the families, guys.
Three officers were killed in the line of duty. Many whom I spoke to can't seem to wrap their heads around what happened, saying that violence continuously happens in York County, including one lady who says she lived 5 minutes away from the shooting.
Raw footage, guys, on the scene of the motorcade.
These parents, friends, all who are showing their respects to those officers are here waving their American flags, honoring them. They've been here for over an hour. You can just see the support here in Spring Grove. Spring Grove, I'm Yasmin Cowan, CBS 21 News. Back to you.
A lot of people out there, guys. This is the motorcade for the fallen officers, guys. Yeah, it is crazy out there, man. Look, these days and times, you never know what's going on.
What about that?
So why it's good to stay in tune with the things going on outside, guys.
That with so many people that are here as well to experience that. We'll give you a quick look around. These people came out in the mist. They've been here for more than an hour and a half thinking this is the reason to be here because it's such an important night to show their support. We have team coverage of everything going on. CBS 21's Grace Ruffalo talking to a neighbor who is near the action.
Is it Philadelphia or Pennsylvania? Which one is it?
And also Yasmin Cowan talking to some more people experiencing this,
Philly.
seeing various parts of this tragedy that happened today. And TJ Anthony in studio with some more of the angles as we're covering this as best we can for you on this tragic day in York County. And as I look behind me for a second here, it looks like it may be beginning as this is a procession that started about 40 minutes ago. And at this point, we'll be coming back.
Continue to get those lights up, guys. Double tap that screen. Get the lights up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new.
To the York County Coroner's Office. Ion Road.
Prayers for those officers, guys. Yes, this is for the five officers shot, 3 unalived, guys. This is their motorcade for the ones that passed away. All right, so it's Pennsylvania, guys. This happened in Pennsylvania. York County, Pennsylvania, guys.
As you can see, the salutes are here. We saw the ambulances come through, and now so many in law enforcement from various departments all across our area showing their respect as part of this as well. Let's talk more about this. One of the deadliest days in law enforcement history here in Pennsylvania. 3 officers were dead, 2 more in critical but stable condition tonight in the hospital. And this is what we heard earlier today when they were describing what happened in this shootout. The governor talking about it as well.
It's crazy, y'all. Prayers up, man. Prayers up. A lot of law enforcement out there, guys. 3 officers unalive, 2 in critical condition. Pennsylvania. It's crazy. This is their motorcade, guys. Y'all make sure y'all double tapping that screen, getting those likes up. or click those three dots, hit the thumbs up. That's how you hit the like button, guys. Make sure you subscribing to the channel if you're new. Yeah, they say Pittsburgh. Dang, that's crazy, y'all. It's getting worse and worse every day, man. Mix, will you go do a story on the singer who a 15-year-old girl was saying? Yeah, that's next, man. We got that
And
coming for you too
unfortunately,
today.
this community
We talking
has
about the
fared it
Dave
before. That
situation.
would
We
be
most
just
definitely
about
got
6
that
months
coming
ago
up
when
next.
Officer Andrew Duarte with the West York Police Department was killed in the line of duty as well. As the
This is
procession
everything
continues
news. We
behind
cover
me at this point,
everything news.
let's
If
talk
it's in the
about other
news,
ways
we
to pay
got it.
respect. The governor, Josh Shapiro, says the flags will be at half staff at all government buildings, saying that is the way to respect them through the next day or so, as these 3 officers were killed in the
This is
line of
in
duty. I want to talk to Grace
Pennsylvania.
Ruffalo now. She
5
got to
officers
talk
on the
to
line.
someone
5
who was
officers
near
shot,
this
2
shootout
unalived,
earlier this
guys.
afternoon and getting her perspective on this
Details are
tragic day.
very
Grace.
scarce. Breaking news. They don't have a lot of information yet, but this is the motorcade for the officers that were unalived, guys. It's a lot of police on the scene, man. Let's most definitely take time to get those likes up, guys. Click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up. It helps out the channel, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We getting it as it unfolds, guys.
Yeah, well, things happen. What?
Yeah, there are a lot of police. Lots of police on the scene, guys. You would have thought Trump was on his way through there, as many police cars we done seen.
Can someone contact JAC? Have Tyler contact them.
That's crazy, man. Sad, sad situation, guys, in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Sad, 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 man. Prayers up for the families of the officers, guys.
No. For that, yeah, not this. Yeah.
A little bit more of the motorcade, man. 5 officers shot, 3 unalived in Pennsylvania, guys. In Pennsylvania, yeah, Pittsburgh, Philly. That's what I think that's what they said. Which one is it, man? Y'all got me confused again. I know it's in Pennsylvania. They say not Pittsburgh. Which one is it? It's Pennsylvania. York County, yes. York County, Pennsylvania.
I don't know. Check.
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is on the other side of PA. Okay.
I don't know. I'm dialed in. I can hear them.
West of Philadelphia.
What do you mean never called them? I'm in. I can hear you.
Yeah, man. The police procession, guys. 5 officers unalived. 5 officers shot, 3 unalived, and 2 in critical condition, guys.
Yes.
That is what we were getting, guys.
Yes.
So as they keep us up to date on that, I'll most definitely keep y'all up to date, guys. All right, so there's been another situation going on involving a single, right? I think his name is David. You know, there was a female body discovered wrapped in plastic, guys, in his vehicle. The police found the body, guys. He is currently on a tour, man. At first, when I first seen this, I ain't even click on it. But it's been causing a lot of stir on social media, guys. Check this out.
In Southern California, the body found in singer David's Tesla has been identified as a missing teen girl. Her remains were discovered in the trunk of that Tesla in a tow lot in Hollywood. We want to go out right now to Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez with the very latest in this investigation. Christina, what can you tell us tonight?
Well, we're in Lake Elsinore. That teenager, her name Celeste.
They say that David has canceled his next shows, guys. He got to go in and see the officials, man. They trying to figure out why this body was found in his car, guys. Basically, like in a parking spot. What was it at? An impound or something like that, man. They discovered a whole body of a 15-year-old girl in this guy's car, guys.
At Rivers. She was 13 years old when she was last seen leaving.
13 years old. Let's correct that. Not 15, but 13.
This home back in April of 2024. Now, her family had no idea that her case could be connected to the Tesla until they get a call from TMZ last week. Now, keep in mind, right now, David, the artist, he is not considered a suspect. He's not considered a person of interest. We're told he is cooperating, but he canceled his tour date in Seattle, the next one. And people here are saying, what's going on? So let's show you.
They said a year and a half missing. Good Lord.
Few words from those arriving at the Lake Elsinore home where 15-year-old Celeste Rivas disappeared in April of 2020.
This is the girl that was found inside of that vehicle, guys. She's been missing. I think they said since 2024, guys. Her body turned up with this singer, man. It's crazy.
24.
For the family.
Her family has just found out that it is her partially dismembered body that was found in the trunk of a Tesla, registered to popular singer-songwriter David Anthony Burke.
Now, I don't know this guy. Y'all know this guy? I've never heard of this guy before. Before now, I wouldn't even been able to tell you who he was. And the dude behind him got on some very interesting clothing. You know, he must have been a rock and roll singer or something. I'm just saying, I ain't never heard of this dude. I don't know much about him. They popped out with David like he was an international superstar or something. I ain't never heard none of his music. I don't think I've heard any of his music. Let me put it like that. But I don't know who this guy is. Man, look, I'm just saying, they popped out with him like he was somebody special.
Known by the stage name David. TMZ broke the girl's identification after speaking to her mother.
It was a very heart-wrenching conversation. She was very upset and said that all she knew is that, her daughter had been missing all of this time. She told us that she was aware that there was a boyfriend named David.
Oh, he done blew up on TikTok. Okay.
And that her daughter had a tattoo with the letters "sh" on her right index finger.
Oh, those tattoos come into play too. Say that this little girl had the same "sh" tattoo on her finger, that he had as well. They had matching tattoos, guys.
That the color of the ink of that tattoo was red, which was something that police had not released to the public.
The singer, who has been cooperating with police, had continued his tour after the body was discovered, but he just canceled his next date in Seattle.
But it just seemed odd to us that, gosh, your car, such a grisly discovery in your car, and that you're just out on tour. You would think that, you'd want to find out what happened here, because this is just a very bizarre case.
Especially because one of his videos actually features a body being put in the trunk of a car.
It's just eerie considering what ended up happening in David's car.
I just hope that the truth comes forward.
Celeste's neighbors on the street she grew up at.
Justicia.
Justice is what family and friends are asking for.
Whatever happened.
Another crazy situation. What's wrong with people these days, man? You know what I'm saying? This guy, TikTok sensation. Them basically, I don't know. I see y'all down there like, what the heck? Yes, y'all 15 years old, man. I think this guy's like 20. 21 with a 15-year-old.
Could happen to someone else. And it's just scary.
Now, we have reached out to David's people, no response from them. Again, I want to emphasize, last we heard, he was cooperating. LAPD is not naming him a suspect at this point or a person of interest. We're waiting to hear more from them. But I can tell you the Seattle concert date was canceled. Next is San Francisco on Friday. We're waiting to hear back from that venue. And he's supposed to be here at the Greek this weekend. We reached out to them. We haven't heard back from them yet. So we'll have to see what happens.
Walker, I think she was 13 when she went missing.
Happens. Very much a developing story out here in the Lake Elsinore area, which, if you're wondering, is about 70 miles from the Los Angeles area. I'm Christina Gonzalez, live. Back to you guys.
All right, you know what I'm saying? So once I seen that, I'm like, man, this is pretty interesting, man. I need to get all the details, so I went searching. I found a spot that had all the details. Shout out to Law and Crime, man. They most definitely gonna keep us all the way on point. Let's find out what's going on with this singer and this young girl, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Continue to double tap that screen. Most definitely hit that subscribe button if you new.
You go on his YouTube channel, he's got over 2 million subscribers. He has over 3.5 million followers on TikTok, 2 million on Instagram, billions and billions of streams on Spotify. Currently on his Withered World Tour, well, apparently a decomposed body was just found in a Tesla registered in his name out in LA. Yeah, found in an impound lot, to be more specific. This happened out on Monday. Yeah, not the headline I imagined for this.
Impound lot, man. This guy, man, what is going on, guys?
Week either. But according to a police
in a Tesla of all vehicles.
Authorities were called to this tow yard. It's called Hollywood Tow. And they were called by workers at the lot due to what they said was a foul odor coming from a vehicle. So LAPD responded shortly before 12:30 p.m. They opened the front trunk and they find this body wrapped up in a bag. According to NBC, law enforcement indicated that these human remains were not intact and that there has been no positive ID as of yet, that decomposition with this victim is a major issue here. In fact, KTLA had previously reported that the LA County Medical Examiner's Office arrived at the scene and couldn't even determine the gender of this person. However,
because if I don't, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be
decomposed, currently unidentified as of yet, that decomposition with this victim is a major issue here. In fact, KTLA had previously reported that the LA County Medical Examiner's Office arrived at the scene and couldn't even determine the gender of this person. However, there has been an update. According to
Wow, guys. Well, we know who it is now. We just seen it.
TMZ, just last night, the office listed the victim's gender as female, a height of about 5'1" and 71 pounds. This person has wavy black hair, and she apparently has a tattoo on her right index finger that reads
same one
apparently
today,
she had been wearing a tube top, black leggings, had a metal stud earring, and a metal chain bracelet in the shape of a W. According to TMZ, though, to be more specific here, there is no definitive conclusion as to age, gender, or cause of death. But authorities...
I wonder why he just left her in the car like that.
Are treating this as a death investigation. A spokesperson for the singer, whose real name, by the way, is David Anthony Burke, said in a statement to NBC News that he, quote, has been informed about what's happened, and although he is still out on tour, he is fully cooperating with the authorities. Now, we're going to talk about potential legal consequences here, but I have to say the singer may already...
Why did he leave her wrapped in plastic in his car, guys? That's crazy.
...be feeling the economic consequences? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, there's been reporting that his show last night, we'll talk about it, was like packed. There were tons of people out in Minneapolis. But TMZ has reported that the clothing brand Hollister...
They say, how did the car get to the impound lot? Well, I don't know.
They're no longer featuring him on their website where he had been modeling different items for them. So no, apparently he had been removed in the wake of this news. So I want to bring on right now Detective Eric Barnes to try to figure out what is going on. Detective, thanks so much for coming on. So first of all, nothing to indicate that David has been brought in or that he had to cancel his tour. Does that tell you that investigators at this point don't think he's actually involved in connection with this dead body?
You know, Jesse, anytime there is a death investigation, homicide detectives are going to treat it as if it's a murder. That way, you're able to scale down a lot of times, and you just treat all your evidence as if there's foul play. And I think.
Yeah, we are. Well, I know who Detective Barnes is. Is there anybody in there that knows who Detective Barnes is? I'm just saying. There you go, Eric Barnes. That's most definitely him.
On this particular case, one of the things that is intriguing is the fact that there's very little known information. So, as a detective, you have to make sure that you get all your ducks in a row before you start, making moves and strategizing.
But I mean, they didn't call him in, right? He's on tour. And he's just performed, I think, at the Fillmore last night in Minneapolis. He was in Chicago over the weekend. He has a stop in Kansas City today. Actually, by the way, his last U.S. date is scheduled for L.A. on September 20th, and he plans to go to Europe,
You're
UK,
going to
Ireland
jail,
for more
buddy.
dates. Are they going to let him go? Are they just waiting for him to come back to L.A.? If it was urgent enough, wouldn't there be some sort of action?
I think that kind of at this point in the investigative work into what may have happened to her. I think you kind of overall you keep an eye on definitely who the registered owner of the vehicle is. You know who he is. You know he's out on tour, and I think the first thing that you check out, probably they've been in contact with him and his team over the phone, just to figure out what his schedule has been like the last few days, and definitely
America's largest injury law firm. This is a firm with over 1,000 attorneys. You know why they're so big? Because they win a lot. They have recovered over $25 billion from more than 500,000 clients. Think about that. In the past few months, a client in Florida received $12 million after the insurance company.
Let's get it going. Yeah, man, we don't care about that.
It's registered to him. It was impounded after someone reportedly said it was abandoned in the Hollywood Hills.
All right, so it was impounded. It was impounded after it was labeled abandoned in the Hollywood Hills, which means that car had just been sitting somewhere, and they came and picked it up and took it to the impound lot, guys.
Stone reporting that this was in the high-end Bird Streets area. And in fact, LAPD Captain Robert Peters said, "We were notified this morning and the car's been here for a couple of days." So reporting indicates, by the way, it could be up to 5 days. If that is true, what does that tell you? I mean, how can someone dispose of a body in this area, wait for the car to be impounded? I mean, that presents its own series of questions, right? Did they mean for it to be impounded? Was it I'm made of questions, but the idea of the body being found in this car that was located in this, substantial neighborhood in LA, so strange.
Yeah, it definitely is, and immediately you have to analyze what happened in that vehicle. You start doing a bunch of physical tests to try to collect any kind of DNA evidence that may be left around, just to see if there was any signs of foul play. But also, you have to have in the back of your mind that the car may just be a secondary location, that there may have been an incident leading to the vehicle. And obviously, with a vehicle being mobile, you have a hard time tracking down where this incident initiated at.
How do they process the car? What are they looking for? Fingerprints, DNA, sequence of events? What do they do?
That car right now is the most important piece of evidence that they have. You are going to take your time before you do anything else. You're going to basically shut everything down to a screeching halt and move at like a turtle's pace, looking for fingerprints, any blood, also any type of DNA that may be left, whether it's hair follicles, maybe fingernails, that kind of thing. Just anything that may give you any idea that there was a struggle that took place. Or if
because remember, her body was in bad condition already when they found it.
Someone inadvertently left something behind.
Are they going through surveillance footage right now to see where the car was? I mean, how do they track the movements of the car? Can they?
I haven't had the opportunity to work a case involving a Tesla, but from what I know about Teslas are probably the most friendly vehicles for investigators to work with. They store so much data. The car is just as much a computer as it is a vehicle.
Absolutely.
So there's going to be tons of information stored on the memory board of that car. And also there's cameras also connected to Teslas that have helped other homicide detectives around the country solve cases. So that is going to be very interesting to see what they're able to get from that vehicle. But in terms of a traditional canvas, typically at this point in the investigation, detectives are going basically door to door, block to block, looking for any Ring doorbell camera or businesses that may have video footage to see what was going on with this car in the days leading up to
15-year-old girl wrapped in plastic, guys, found inside David, the popular singers, impounded Tesla, guys. Wow. Wrapped in plastic, y'all. Say that it was abandoned, basically just sitting in the Hollywood Hills for the longest before the laws even came and picked it up. They had trouble identifying at first if it was a man or a woman that was inside the vehicle. That's crazy.
the body being discovered.
And I'll talk more about the body in a minute. I just want to focus on this car for a second. So why theoretically abandon the car and not get rid of it? Why leave it there to be potentially towed? Is it timing issue? Was there a conflict? Maybe it's hard to do. I think about what would it take for somebody to deposit a body in a trunk of a car. Who would have the means and the opportunity to do that? But then I also think, why leave it there for it to potentially be impounded and be processed?
With the information that's just known, which is very bare bones at this point, the seating that they found inside this vehicle appeared to be a very small individual. 70 pounds is not very heavy at all. So you're looking at possibly one person that could be capable of moving the body and placing it inside the trunk. And also you have the aspect of the plastic bag. You know, if you see someone carrying a trash bag out the middle of the night, it's not really going to raise any eyebrows. And I think that it's one of those things that when crimes often happen out of spur of the moment, and so you don't have time to plan things out from a criminal aspect. When it hits the fan, it hits the fan, and you're kind of forced at that moment to come up with the best strategy possible. And sometimes that best strategy possible leaves you with a moment of, I don't know what to do at this point. And I think that's what happened with this vehicle. There's what I feel to do with it. The best course of action could be just to leave it in the trunk of this car.
Wow.
Yeah, we're still trying to piece together what's going on here. By the way, I mean, you got to call out those workers who smelled something. And by the way, I hate to ask this, but I think it's important. Is that smell distinct? The smell of a dead body?
Just decomposing.
Yes, it is. Once you've smelled it one time, you know exactly what it is the next time you smell it.
And I'm not saying they even knew that, but they smelled something and thought enough that there's a problem here.
Let's go, Gigi.
Let's go talk about this victim. By the way, going back to the idea, before we get to the idea of the victim, if the car, this state of decomposition, in this car for 5 days, that gives a timeline too, right? I mean, that can
her body was
that can tell
inside that
something
car
about
for 5
the sequence
days,
of events.
guys.
Yes, there's a lot of factors that play into decomposition. You know, the weather, the level of humidity, obviously the fact that, the time of the year that it is, the weather can actually speed up decomposition. And so although there are some times where it can help you, there's a lot of different factors that can weigh into that analysis.
And just to be clear, when you're hearing reporting that the body was not intact, does that mean it was mutilated? Does that mean it was...
I know y'all hung up on that 70 pounds. 15 years old weighed 70 pounds, guys. Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Severed in some way, chopped up?
It gives the indication that it's been tampered with in one way or another. I when I heard that, the first thing I thought was they didn't necessarily just go to that it had been mutilated, but also I've been on crime scenes where advanced levels of decomposition can also lead to the body coming.
Most definitely seemed like it. Gigi say he starved. I believe so too. 70 pounds is way underweight, man.
So that's also a theory that could come into play.
Let's talk about the ID of this victim. I mentioned it before. To me, the tattoo and the jewelry are very, very important. What do investigators do with that to try to figure out who this person is? I mean, obviously it's being reported, so perhaps somebody who knows somebody that has that kind of tattoo and coupled with that jewelry will come forward. But beyond that, what do investigators do?
definitely at this point in time, the media is going to be your best friend with getting your victim identified. I think the tattoo is very distinct. So if there's people that are aware of someone that has a
Let's
tattoo
go. She say my
like
youngest
that,
son,
it's
80
going to
pounds.
stand out, and
Yeah.
hopefully they get in contact with the LA Police Department. Also, I think that from a detective standpoint, while you're waiting on media to potentially make a connection, you're just scanning through your databases, looking for any police reports or anything that may document someone with that kind of tattoo.
I mean, and you don't even know if that person got the tattoo in LA, but do you go to tattoo parlors and say, have you ever done a
Yeah, that tattoo is going to connect them even more. He can't say he didn't know her, guys. What could have been going through his mind when he did that, guys? They found her wrapped in plastic, man, inside his impounded Tesla, man. Like I said, I never knew who this guy was, this David dude, but I guess he's a internet sensation, because I ain't never heard of him before now. But that's crazy, y'all. Said she been sitting in that car 5 days. Yeah. He was 14 in 2024. I'm just saying, man, they saying 15 years old now.
tattoo like this? Also, the jewelry, I don't know where it was purchased. I mean, is that anything that they go to the suppliers and try to see where any of that, where this person might have purchased it? I mean, it might seems like a daunting, impossible task because you just don't know.
Right. At this point, you don't take anything off the table. I think that is the priority for these investigators, is to get this young lady identified, or this to be able to determine, who she is. And once you can figure out who she is, then you can kind of figure out where she was at and she was supposed to be around. And I think that's going to open up a bunch more answers and possibilities for your investigators.
Does fingerprints or DNA play a role in identifying a decomposed victim?
They do. At this point in the investigation, I think just depending on the level of decomposition, you have to be very mindful that fingerprints, they can also go away. So they also weigh very heavily if there's a high level of decomposition, and they'll focus on dental records. Hopefully there'll be something that they can reach into, that if the hands are decomposed, that the dental should be intact, and hopefully that'll help them move them in the right direction.
Doesn't it also tell you something, if this reporting is true, that wearing these clothes, wearing this jewelry, having this identifier on the finger,
it's going to link him?
And I hate to say this, but a professional killer would not have left those identifying marks, let alone leave a dead body in a car to be found. But doesn't that tell you something about who may have done this?
As you stated, I think there are just a lot of things that if someone had the time to think through circumstances and plan it out a little better, if that was the case with this, that they wouldn't make these mistakes. Leaving a car abandoned on the street, especially in an area that is heavily populated, has tollway zones, that car is gonna be discovered at a certain amount of time. And also with people that may be walking dogs and going out exercising, the smell is gonna give away the fact that there's a body hidden inside this vehicle. So I think there's a lot of rush and judgment in making decisions on this situation.
And not to play conspiracy theory, but there's always a possibility here, right, that perhaps that person who did this, right, wanted the body to be found. If David has nothing to do with this, there is always a possibility that the body was placed in his car. He didn't know who was driving it.
Man, it's a lot of questions, man, for this guy right here with the painted fingernails. Bro, all signs say something about him. In his car, his girl, same tattoo. Man, I wonder what happened.
Someone had access to the car. I wonder if those are questions that he's cooperating with law enforcement, right? Who had access to the car? Do you know anybody who drove it? And whether or not there is a situation where they wanted to throw suspicion on him. Not playing conspiracy theory, but again, I'm trying to balance all this. He's cooperating. He's still on tour. They may not believe he's involved. Makes it seem like somebody else potentially was trying to frame him or cast suspicion. Am I thinking about this the right way?
100%. Like I think what makes a successful investigation and a successful investigator is that you don't take anything off the table until you're able to rule it out. So they have their hands full, definitely, with looking at every single possibility in this case. I think also if I'm David or I'm his spokesperson, I'm going to want to give the police as much cooperation as possible, because the last thing I want to do is for him to take a hit in the social realm and start to lose fans because of
If he
any kind
involved, they
of
already gone.
suspicion
He can
that's
kiss them
unwarranted.
goodbye.
By the way, from a legal point of view, I've seen cases before where bodies are found, and if they're in such a state of decomposition or the body is severed in such a way, it can be difficult to determine cause of death or manner of death. And you might have a situation where somebody is charged with tampering with evidence or disposing of a body, but they might not necessarily be charged with murder. There could be other circumstances that would support it, but if you don't have those answers from the body itself, you could have somebody who overdosed, you could have somebody who slipped and fell, you could have somebody...
That's all good. He didn't call law enforcement though. Instead, he wrapped up in a bag and left him in the Tesla. What are we talking about?
There are a number of different scenarios, and then someone panics and then does something to the body. I mean, you just don't know. Self-defense. So if the body is so decomposed, that could be a problem for potential prosecution, right?
Yes, I think that it definitely presents some challenges because you don't have the ready available testing that is normally done when you have a fresh scene or a fresh victim. I also think that what you brought up was very interesting in terms of overdose. I've worked several overdose scenes where everybody's partying at night, people go to bed, kind of crash, and when they wake up, someone has passed away. And so the last thing they want to do is call the police and say, hey, we've been using drugs. So you have a cleanup process that takes place. And so that as well, I think, could be a very viable situation here, just depending on what information comes out.
Yeah, and I'm being clear. I'm speculating. I don't know. I'm just trying to work through different scenarios here as we try to make sense of this in real time. Do you think they're looking into David, investigators? Are they following him? Obviously, if they want to track communications, I imagine they would need a warrant. But do you think they're keeping a very careful eye on him and he doesn't know it?
I think at this point, I think obviously the fact that this happened, that a body was found inside his vehicle, I don't think that there's any secret at this point to him that the police are investigating him at some level. And I think that the way that he can,
you big dummy,
kind of show his lack of involvement is just being fully cooperative with law enforcement, which it appears that there is some level of cooperation. But I think at this point, the primary focus of those investigators is just identifying the victim. You kind of had to work off of the facts of where your victim was at, what they were doing, and who were the last people that were with her. And I think that kind of will keep you from going down so many rabbit trails.
It's a really, really distressing case, and it's evolving very rapidly. So hopefully they make an ID. Hopefully we get some answers, and we will keep a careful eye on it. Detective Eric Barnes, thank you so much for taking the time. It was good to see you.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, everybody, that is all we have for you right.
All right. So that's all they know about the Dave situation, guys. And the 15-year-old girl who they say had been sitting inside their Tesla for 5 days, guys. And they basically start smelling some in the impound lot that it was taken to and led to the body of the young lady, man. Same matching tattoos as the singer inside of his Tesla. Yeah, wrapped in plastic. Yeah, he got some real explaining to do whenever he make it back from wherever he's at, guys. Yeah, that's just that on that. Gigi says they should have been she says I've seen dudes traffic more than 70 pounds. I'm just saying, not 70 pounds, man. That 70 pounds got some of y'all out there, I see. Man, that's crazy. That's the most craziest part. 70 pounds? Lord have mercy, Jesus. That she was well underweight, man. Was he not feeding her? I'm just saying. But anyway, all right, let's jump to this next situation, guys. I start seeing where they started firing people and things of that nature behind their Charlie Kirk opinions, guys. The things they have to say got people losing their jobs. And I guess nobody's immune. Police officers, firefighters, nurses, doctors, you know what I'm saying? Some of your favorite personalities on the internet and TV. Jimmy Kimmel just got his walking papers. behind what he had to say about Charlie Kirk, guys. They've been talking about it everywhere. You know, Obama gave his take on the Charlie Kirk situation, and Trump is backing the people that are getting rid of Jimmy Kimmel. Says that Trump is ecstatic. He's very happy about this. Let's get to Jimmy Kimmel, guys. Yeah, they most definitely got him up out of there.
And the ABC network are taking Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air indefinitely. This follows a controversy over comments the late-night comedian made Monday night about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer and the MAGA movement and their reaction to the assassination. Let's get straight to CNN's chief media affairs correspondent, Brian Stelter. Brian, what is going on?
That's right. This is fast developing this afternoon, Jake, amid pressure from the Trump-aligned FCC. And in the past few minutes, ABC confirmed to CNN the Kimmel show will be off the air, quote, indefinitely. We have not yet heard from Kimmel or his representatives. That's how quickly this has been developing. But let's back up and look at what Kimmel actually said on the program that has caused controversy. This is from Monday night.
This is what he
in
said.
his
They got
Monday
him
evening
canceled,
monologue.
guys.
Kimmel suggested that the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk might have been a pro-Trump Republican. He said, quote, the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. He said in between the finger pointing, there was grieving. Kimmel was expressing what we've heard some other liberals say in recent days, that the motives are unclear and that maybe the suspect in this case was a Republican or was some sort of far-right fringe figure. Of course, there has been a lot of discussion about that in recent days. There's a lot of evidence pointing in other directions about the subject.
Jimmy Kimmel's show has been muted indefinitely.
But Kimmel was on the air talking about this, making a very serious commentary amid his jokes in his monologue Monday night. Here's where it became interesting earlier today. The FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, went on a far-right webcast and condemned Kimmel and urged ABC to suspend him. He also talked about possible regulatory punishments of Disney because there are lots of different stations that have licenses with the FCC. Within the past hour, we've heard from a big owner of stations that have affiliations with ABC, a company called Nexstar, saying that they were going to suspend Kimmel's show on their station. So in other words, about 24 stations were refusing to air Kimmel's show tonight as a result of this controversy. And then following word that some of those stations were basically revolting against Kimmel, Disney, the parent company of ABC, decided to yank the show entirely. So that's all we know at the moment. We know that Kimmel...
They done took it right off the board, guys. It's up out of there. It is no more. Disney said absolutely not.
Not be on the air tonight or for the foreseeable future because the network says the show has been yanked off the air indefinitely.
Brian, just to take one issue, your interpretation of what Kimmel said, I think, is the one that Brendan Carr had and the one that the individuals at Nexstar have. But what he said specifically was, quote, the MAGA gang is desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. That can be read in several ways. That could be heard in several ways. It could also be it could also be argued he's saying that what the MAGA gang is doing is just trying to make sure that they don't have any ownership of it, not necessarily that this killer, this horrible person, was part of them. I mean,
I think you're making a very important point.
Yeah,
you're making a very important point. And let's take it a little bit step further. This was all on Monday night. Nobody seemed to notice this yesterday, Jake. This all erupted in the past few hours when the Trump-aligned FCC chairman decided to point at it. Now, I've heard from him in the past few minutes, Brendan Carr, thanking Nexstar for doing the right thing by yanking the show. He has not yet commented on ABC yanking the show altogether across the entire country. But let's remember that when Stephen Colbert's show was canceled over the summer, what did President Trump say? He said, next up will be an even less talented Jimmy Kimmel. It is clear that pro-Trump allies have been trying to target ABC over Kimmel for several weeks now, and tonight they've prevailed.
Yeah, Brian Stelter, thanks so much for that breaking news. Let's go right to the panel.
Got him right up out of there.
Let me first start by showing I wondered what was going on earlier today.
Freedom of speech is not so free no more, huh? Yeah, you say the wrong thing about Charlie Kirk, they getting you up out of there.
Today, when I saw this pop up on Twitter, this is the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, on a far-right podcast talking about what Kimmel's comments were. Let's roll that tape.
You know, when you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel,
it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. Obviously, there's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think, you could certainly see a path forward for suspension over this. And again, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at.
Joe, are you comfortable with the FCC playing this role?
I don't think this is a legal issue. I don't think this can be pointed to the FCC or the Trump administration and say, well, this is about them going after Kimmel because of what he said. Personally, I think it's more of a cultural issue. And I got to tell you, look, I'm about as moderate a Republican as you're going to get. I'm from New York. I have not been comfortable watching late night television 15 years because when you have conservative leanings and you're constantly mocked and you constantly feel like you're doing something wrong, you shut it off. You don't watch it anymore. And then what happens is it's circular. If the host doesn't have that audience, the host doesn't worry about keeping an audience like that. It goes in circles. And at some point, you get things like this where you say things, and that wasn't the full quote. The further quote was that he mocked President Trump for flying the flags at half-staff in remembrance of Charlie Kirk and said it's like grieving of a 4-year-old as a 4-year-old grieves for a goldfish.
No,
that was the full quote then.
Well, the full quote was, I think he ran the clip of a reporter asking President Trump how he would...
Shouldn't he be able to say whatever he want, guys? They done snatched Jimmy Kimmel off TV. Man, click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new.
Doing with the death of Charlie Kirk. And President Trump said, I think I'm doing okay. And then he proceeded to talk about the ballroom that was being built on the White House grounds. I think that was the full context. Again, I didn't say any of this. I'm just trying to present as accurate a picture of what did happen. Ellie, this is the FCC commissioner. Right. I don't think we have seen an FCC commissioner this aggressive in our lifetime. So what do you think of it all?
So, to the point of whether there's a legal element here, I think Joe's right. Like, the First Amendment says Congress shall make no law, which means you can only enforce the First Amendment against the government. So can Jimmy Kimmel sue? No, he can't sue ABC for making a decision to remove him. That's a private entity. But what Donald Trump is doing repeatedly is he's expanding his executive power in 2 ways. One, I would say, is precedented. That's the traditional stuff. I have more authority to hire and fire executive branch officials.
Say the wrong thing about Charlie Kirk, lose your job.
I don't have to respond to Congress, that kind of thing. He's fighting that out in the court. We've seen that before. What's unprecedented, however, is the way Donald Trump is using official power from the FCC on to go after universities, law firms, and media companies that he disagrees with on policy or on politics. That is new. We've not seen that from any president before.
This is actually cancel culture. I mean, that's what this is. The chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, added on Benny Johnson's podcast that the broadcasters, including ABC, have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. Elsewhere in the interview, Carr attacked Kimmel as talentless and suggested the late-night comedian's comments displayed some sort of, quote, desperate irrelevance. Is that what we want the FCC chairman to be doing?
It's a very slippery slope, and there's a pattern. We keep talking about it like it's not happening, and it just keeps happening over and over and over again with folks he disagrees with. I'm a Democrat. I'll say what happened to Charlie Kirk is disgusting.
See, they listen, man, they is on it.
We should have a court that if he did it, he should be prosecuted to every extent of the law. We shouldn't have to say that. That's just common sense. But we also should say the First Amendment matters to everybody, whether they agree or they disagree. And I just think that what we're going through right now is unprecedented. It's unseemly. And I think that it's really getting out of hand because it's just happening more and more and more with folks who disagree.
We do have the clip that Jimmy Kimmel said Monday night. Let's
see what he said, guys.
8 or 9 minute monologue. This is just one clip of it, but this is what he said.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
That got him fired, guys. This is what got what?
Clip of it,
this is what got him fired.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Now, the way that Fox...
Is that worth losing your job over? I'm just saying, let me know. In the comments, this is what Jimmy Kimmel said. They got his show yanked.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Now, the way that Fox...
That's it. He lost his job. You know what I'm saying? Said he was doing too much. Oh, my goodness, y'all. That was it. That's all he said. That's all he said. Got him fired.
This is just one clip of it, but this is what he said.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Now, the way that Fox covered what he just said there was Kimmel suggests Kirk assassin was one of the MAGA gang, despite reports of leftist leanings. I don't know that I think that that is an accurate description, but they have the First Amendment to write what they want to write.
The job of the FCC is not to regulate and police content. It's not, do we like this? Does this make us comfortable or uncomfortable? I don't like anything about what Jimmy Kimmel said, frankly. I agree with Joe. I find his comments reprehensible, but it's not the FCC's job to say, do we like this or do we not? And FCC, of course, is a government
Dang, man, that's messed up. He got fired for that.
Actor. And I'm thinking sort of off the top of my head here, but if ABC wanted to fight this, clearly they don't because they've made the decision to dispatch or suspend Jimmy Kimmel. If they wanted to fight this, they might have a basis to go into court the same way that law firms have gone into court, and Harvard, among other universities, have gone into court and said, this is an overextension of government power, of executive power. This violates the First Amendment. And again, they can bring that because the FCC is a government actor, but Jimmy Kimmel cannot do anything against ABC because they're private.
One other thing that the FCC commissioner Brendan Carr did in that interview with Benny Johnson, who, by the way, has said plenty of things that a lot of people find objectionable, is he suggested actually the exact course of action that happened. He said what could happen is local affiliates could complain to ABC about the content, and then those local affiliates could say they're going to refuse to air Jimmy Kimmel Live. And that's actually what happened. Nexstar, which owns a bunch of ABC affiliates, they were the first ones to say in a statement, and Variety broke this news, we're going to preempt the show. Is there any coming back from this, do you think?
Well, I don't think ABC is canceling him because they're afraid of the FCC. I think they're afraid that they're going to lose whatever audience he has left because that's such an offensive thing he said. As
What's
far
up,
as
JB?
there's so much media alternatives at this point, so I think the FCC's the range of authority they have is less and less because there's so many other outlets to reach out to. So if Kimmel wants to reappear somewhere else, he will. I think the point is, though, that, again, when you alienate a part of the population who at some point just stops watching, then you have no incentive to keep whatever left of that audience there is. And then, it just kind of goes down the drain.
All right, so as Jimmy Kimmel loses his job, guys, I think Trump might have put in a special word allegedly because he was celebrating when he got the news that Jimmy Kimmel was losing his job. He told him he wasn't worth nothing. Now Trump is celebrating Jimmy Kimmel losing his job, guys. He said that's great news for America. Wow.
His state visit with the royal family here at Windsor Castle is celebrating after ABC announced that it is taking Jimmy Kimmel's late night show off the air indefinitely following criticism over comments that he made in the days after Charlie Kirk's murder. The president declared victory basically tonight, writing on Truth Social that this is, quote, great news for
Trump say victory.
America. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel's show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC. Now, before we go any further about the major questions that have been raised by this decision tonight, I want you to listen to Jimmy Kimmel in his own words during his monologue on Monday night.
Here they go again. This is what got him fired.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism, but...
All right, so AJ says, what's the difference and him celebrating his losing his job versus people celebrating the offing of Charlie Kirk. They are both, oh my goodness, let's go.
On a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition.
Okay, a little bit more what got him up out of there. He was poking fun.
That was the comment that Jimmy Kimmel made on Monday night. It comes after what he shared in the short aftermath of Kirk's assassination, where Jimmy Kimmel wrote, quote, "Instead of the angry finger pointing, can we just for one day agree that it is horrible and monstrous to shoot another human? On behalf of my family, we send love to the Kirks and to all the children, parents, and innocents who fall victim to senseless gun violence." Now, this decision tonight has raised many questions beyond the actions of an individual company. That's because this announcement comes just hours after we heard from the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, in an interview where he said that Jimmy Kimmel should be removed over his comments about Charlie Kirk's killing.
Did they work
when you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. As you've indicated, there are avenues here for the FCC, so there are some ways in which I need to be a little bit careful, because we could be called ultimately to be a judge on some of these claims that come up. So look, there's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think you could
and they got him fired too, got him right up out of there.
Suspension over this, and again, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at.
Like what Jimmy Kimmel said or not, find it tasteful or distasteful, that is the FCC chair saying there, in the wake of that there are remedies that the FCC could look at. One thing that's important to note here as we look at
freedom of speech ain't looking all so free no more, even though they say Charlie Kirk was a freedom fighter when it comes to the freedom of speech thing. They not letting people just be able to say whatever they want in regards to him, man. You say the wrong thing, you lose your job. It don't matter where you work. They catch you on social media, you can get kicked out of school, a whole bunch of stuff behind saying the wrong thing about Charlie Kirk at this time.
This is how Kimmel's departure from the airwaves has been a goal of President Trump's for quite some time, long before the comments that he made about Charlie Kirk and how Trump was responding to his death. Trump himself has said more than once that he wanted Jimmy Kimmel off the air. On July 29th, this is what he wrote after CBS announced it was canceling Stephen Colbert's late night show. The president said he believed that Jimmy Kimmel would be next. And he said this from the White House just in August.
Trump pulling strings.
Colbert has no talent. I mean, I could take anybody here. I could go outside in the beautiful streets and pick up a couple of people that do just as well or better. They get higher ratings than he did. He's got no talent. Fallon has no talent. Kimmel has no talent. They're next. They're going to be going. I hear they're going to be going.
Got him right up out of there. Said you hear they going to be going.
Higher ratings than he did. He's got no talent. Fallon has no talent. Kimmel has no talent. They're next. They're going to be going. I hear they're going to be going.
He said they next, and he was right.
Trump said he heard that they are going to be going. I want to get straight to CNN's chief media analyst, Brian Stelter, and CNN's senior legal analyst, Ellie Honig, who are both here tonight. And Brian, one thing that stands out tonight is that it is 9 o'clock on the East Coast. It's just past 2 a.m. here in the United Kingdom. Obviously, Trump has weighed in. We haven't heard from Jimmy Kimmel himself yet or his show on this.
That's what I keep waiting for. That's what I'm refreshing for. Caitlin, Kimmel's camp has had about 3 hours now.
I got a question for y'all. Why come when people headlines start receding and it be gone, why just not cut it all off? What's up with this stuff on the side? I'm just asking. Why just keep the stuff on the side? You know, I got a bald head. I cut all my hair off. I'm not going to walk around nowhere with a big bald spot at the top of my head. Like, I don't know why they don't just cut that off. What's going on, man? I be seeing a lot of people doing that. It ain't that serious, man. It's just hair, guys. When it's gone, it's gone. No matter if you leave it on the side or wherever you leave it at, it's not going to grow back. You know, just because you leave it open, that's not going to help, man. You might as well just cut it all off and be done with it. But anyway.
To process this decision by ABC. They were just about to start production of the episode when this decision was handed down. Some fans were already lined up, ready to head inside the studio in West Hollywood. So Kimmel's voice is going to be really important. That's the next big part of this story. What will he say and when? You know, Kimmel's contract with ABC was coming due in just a few months. I believe it was set to expire at the end of this year. So this could be the end of the show forever, right? Maybe the show will not come back. Or maybe ABC is going to react to the very loud criticism that the company is facing right now. Everyone from, yes, Democratic politicians, free speech groups, but also many ordinary fans of Kimmel who wanted to see him tonight and in the coming days. Because, every reaction causes a counter reaction. And I'm very interested to see what the counter reaction is here among the millions of Kimmel fans who are going to want to see him on the air. But right now, Caitlin, the entertainment industry is in absolute...
They don't care how bad they want to see him. He out of there. He gone.
Shock.
You
this feels like a worst-case scenario for many entertainers.
Another station may pick him up, but NBC and Disney, he out of
there. Comedians, political activists, figures who want to have free speech rights in this country and feel that they are under threat right now.
Well, Brian, can I ask you on that? Because I know sometimes as a reporter covering a beat, you hear rumors about someone's departure or firing coming. Right. Had there been rumors about this happening? Had you had any indication that Jimmy Kimmel, a very popular host, was about to be pulled off of ABC?
Fears, but not rumors. What we have been hearing in recent weeks were fears, murmurs about what the political environment is like. A sense that, President Trump wanted Kimmel canceled. A sense that Disney does feel the pressure from the Trump administration. Disney's a big company. It doesn't just have broadcast stations. It also has theme parks everybody loves. It also has lots of other lines of business. So the company does have to take the government's threats seriously. We're in a whole new world when it comes to this administration being willing and able to exert its pressure against private corporations. A world that these executives, these CEOs, frankly, do not want to live in, right? Disney CEO Bob Iger, he thought about running for president. He would have been running as a Democrat. He is not a MAGA figure, but he is doing what he might believe is best for his business in this moment. And this is going to embolden the Trump allies who are prioritizing not just control of the government, but also control of culture. They're not trying to just add new conservative voices to the air. They're trying to squash the liberal voices they don't like. And at least for tonight, they are succeeding.
Ellie Honig, what's your legal
Done got
view
Jimmy
of
Kimmel
this
right
in
up
terms
out
of what we heard from the FCC chair, not only hours before this happened, but he was cheering this in a message to Brian earlier that he was posting. It was a meme from The Office of Michael Scott dancing. What are the legal implications here for people who are asking whether or not this is legal?
So the key decision maker here is ABC itself. Now, given the pressure tactics that have been put out there by the FCC commissioner, we just saw that clip, by the president at times, ABC really had two options. Option one, which they took, would be to suspend Jimmy Kimmel. They're a private entity, ABC. They cannot be sued under the First Amendment. The First Amendment only applies to governmental entities. Congress shall make no law. So ABC could have chosen option A, suspend Jimmy Kimmel, save yourself the money, the political hassle, whatever it is. Good or bad, that's ABC's decision. But option B, which I think is really more important, which ABC chose not to take, is they could have taken a stand. They could have said, we're not going to give in to the pressure. And then if and when the FCC took action, ABC could have challenged that in court. And I am quite confident that they would have won on First Amendment grounds, because now we're talking about governmental action. Now we're talking about the FCC, which is part of the executive branch. There is some case law related to this. We've never seen a case quite like this. But basically, there was a case involving the Biden administration, this practice called jawboning, which basically means behind-the-scenes effort to influence what's being put up on social media or in media. And basically, what the courts have told us is the key question is the government's conduct coercive? Is it so strong that it amounts to coercion? And if you look at the statements that you just played, Caitlin, by the FCC commissioner, that's pretty straightforward. That's pretty coercive. I mean, that's basically...
Is Trump and them doing something that's illegal, coercing? I'm just saying. That what he putting on the table. That's what he putting down. If y'all ain't picking it up, he's saying Trump and them, could be using, their little persuasion in order to get the things done that they want.
Basically on the borderline of a threat. And I think had ABC stood up, I think they would have won in court.
Well, and so Brian, just to be clear, I saw your post on this, that this happened. Nexstar was the first, I believe, to say that they were not going to be airing Jimmy Kimmel's show.
That's right.
You reported back in August, and I think this is important context here for everyone to keep in mind, that Nexstar had agreed to a $6.2 billion deal to buy another broadcast heavyweight in what would be a huge consolidation of local TV stations. That is a deal that requires the approval of the federal government.
Yes, this is the key to the story. Even though it's a little bit nerdy, this shows how the governmental abuse of power is actually happening, affecting private companies. So Nexstar already owns lots of TV stations. It wants to merge with Tegna, which owns lots of other stations. In order to do that, it needs Brendan Carr, the FCC chair's permission, and it actually needs the FCC to change the regulations entirely about how many stations an individual company can own.
No matter what they put in your face, there's always something else in place, is basically what he just told me.
So Nexstar has all of this pending business before the government. Tegna also does, and there's another big station owner called Sinclair that also has business pending before the government. So what do we know tonight? We know that both Nexstar and Sinclair called up ABC this afternoon, complained about Kimmel, and said they were yanking the show off their stations. ABC subsequently yanked the show nationwide. So we know that two major TV station owners, both of which need to curry favor with the Trump administration, were the ones that most loudly and vocally condemned Kimmel and said they were going to not air the show tonight and in the coming nights. It's an Occam's razor situation. It's exactly what it looks like.
It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. So they done got Jimmy Kimmel right up out of there, guys. Some people are trying to say that allegedly Trump and them is behind it. Well, whenever you hear something about Trump and you hear something in politics in general, Bernie Sanders got to pop out. He most definitely done spoke on this situation with Jimmy Kimmel. Let's see what his reaction was.
Director of the CDC for the first time since she was fired, just 29 days after being confirmed by the Senate. Susan Menarez, who was chosen and nominated by Donald Trump, testified before the Senate Health Committee about how she was fired for, quote, holding the line on scientific integrity, telling senators about the meeting with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that ultimately led to her dismissal.
On the morning of August 25th, Secretary Kennedy demanded two things of me that were inconsistent with my oath of office and the ethics required of a public official.
I don't know. It ain't looking good.
He directed me to commit
right now
in advance to approving every ACIP recommendation, regardless of the scientific evidence. He also directed me to dismiss career officials responsible.
We just trying to hear Bernie Sanders. We ain't trying to hear none of the rest of it. Let's go.
That's the ranking.
Let's go, Bernie.
Senator Bernie Sanders, independent from Vermont, is a ranking member of the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, which held today's hearing, and he joins me now. Senator, I knew the outlines of this story. Of course, we covered it. It was reported. I found the testimony today truly shocking. What Ms. Menarez detailed. What was your reaction?
Well, I think it was shocking, and I think two major issues popped out at me, Chris. Number one.
I hate to be saying it, but it's time for Bernie to retire. He getting old, man. Bernie, don't slip, don't fall asleep as you talking, dog. Yeah, man, it's time for Bernie to retire, pass the torch, man. That's my opinion.
Was the ferocity upon which the Kennedy people are prepared to undermine the science of vaccines.
See, Bernie got that same haircut old buddy had a while ago, man. I don't know why they just hang on to that stuff. Just cut it bald.
Her great crime, and the reason she was fired, as you just said, is she didn't pre-approve a set of principles that she had not seen, okay, regarding vaccines. Now, why these people...
Nick, who you talking to? I'm going to put you to sleep. Who you talking to, Nick?
Want to defy what every major medical organization believes, what every scientific organization believes, which is that not only are vaccines in vaccines, they look like they don't know when it will be. And what Kennedy is doing is
Kennedy, even though he's a doctor, and now seems to be having
their meeting is tomorrow. and you bring in people who are vaccines.
We ain't talking about
the trust the American people have.
I want to just read you, this is Robert Malone, who is one of these individuals who has been appointed to this committee that is going to determine the childhood vaccine. The one who
this is the health.
You have long talked a lot about the U.S. media, about how the media operates and controlled, and particularly its ownership and the threats that can pose to the free and fair expression of a range of views. So I have to get your reaction to the FCC commissioner directly threatening both local affiliates and Disney earlier today, saying we can do it the easy way or the hard way, and then subsequently both the affiliates and then Disney deciding to preemptively take Jimmy Kimmel off the air.
Look, I mean, you've heard me say this a million times. This country is rapidly moving toward an authoritarian form of society.
Oh, my goodness.
In authoritarian countries like Russia and others, Saudi Arabia, you do not have a media that is allowed to be critical of the government. Trump just, was it yesterday, the day before, announced the $50 billion lawsuit against the New York Times. Today, the head of the FCC basically says, I don't like what this guy said, and we can take away your license. You better get rid of him.
Let's talk about it, Bernie.
Well, this is just another step forward, and we have got to, some of us are working really hard to rally the American people, not only against this authoritarianism, but this war against the working class, the massive tax breaks for the rich, the cuts in Medicaid. People should be aware that as a result of this Trump's big, beautiful bill, your health care premiums, whether you're Republican or a Democrat, whatever, independent, could go up by 75% because they're taking away the credits for the ACA. Yeah. So, we got some crises. We're trying to rally the American people against oligarchy, against authoritarianism, against the war on the working class that we're currently seeing.
Senator Bernie Sanders, thank you for making time tonight.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, so we got a little word from Bernie Sanders regarding this situation, man, saying, hey, man, we headed towards, authoritarianism or whatever you said, and that's crazy, man. I would hope not, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we don't want to be like Russia and them. That's all I'm saying. All right, so with all this, speaking of Charlie Kirk going on, guys, Obama has stepped out and gave his perspective. Let's see what ex-President Obama got to say about all this.
Point, not just around political violence, but there are a host of larger trends that we have to be concerned about. I think it is important for us at the outset to acknowledge that political violence is not new. It has happened at certain periods in our history. But it is something that it is anathema to what it means to be a democratic country. And regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, what happened to Charlie Kirk was horrific and a tragedy. What happened, as you mentioned, to the state legislators in Minnesota, that is horrific. It is a tragedy. And there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The central premise of our democratic system is that we have to be able to disagree and have sometimes really contentious debates without resort to violence. And when it happens to some, but even if you think they're quote unquote on the other side of the argument, that's a threat to all of us. And we have to be clear and forthright in condemning it. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't have a debate about the ideas that people who were victims of political violence were promoting. And so I've noticed that there's been some confusion, I think, around this lately. And frankly, coming from the White House and some of the other positions of authority that suggest, even before we had determined who the perpetrator of this evil act was, that somehow we're going to identify an enemy. We're going to suggest that somehow that enemy was at fault, and we are then going to use that as a rationale for trying to silence discussion around who we are as a country and what direction we should go. And that's a mistake as well. And so, look, obviously I didn't know Charlie Kirk.
Barack Obama speaks on the Charlie Kirk situation, guys.
I was generally aware of some of his ideas. I think those ideas were wrong. But that doesn't negate the fact
He
that
said that he thinks some of Charlie's theories was wrong, guys. Are they gonna cancel Barack next? They already got Jimmy Kimmel. You better be careful what you say when it comes to Charlie Kirk. You lose your job.
what happened was a tragedy, and that I mourn for him and his family. He's a young man with 2 small children and a wife who obviously, and a huge number of friends and supporters who cared about him. And so we have to extend grace to people during their period of mourning and shock. We can also, at the same time, say that I disagree with the idea that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. That's not me politicizing the issue. It's making an observation about who are we as a country. I can say that I disagree with the suggestion that my wife or Justice Jackson does not have adequate brain processing power. I can say that I disagree that Martin Luther King was awful. I can disagree with some of the broader suggestions of that liberals and Democrats are promoting a conspiracy to displace whites and replace them by ushering in illegal immigrants. Those are all topics that we have to be able to discuss honestly and forthrightly, while we still insist that in that process of debate, we respect other people's right to say things that we profoundly disagree with. That's
the freedom of speech thing, guys, like I've been saying this whole time. He's having to be very calculated, in his words, guys. The wrong thing will make you lose your job.
That's how we should approach this. Now, the last point I'll make on this, or building on a point I made earlier, I've been very impressed.
Like walking around landmines.
With Governor Cox in Utah and how he's approached some of these issues. I suspect Governor Cox and I disagree on a whole bunch of stuff. He is a Republican, a self-professed conservative Republican. But in his response to this tragedy, as well as his history of how he engages with people who are political adversaries, he has shown, I think, that it is possible for us to disagree while abiding by a basic code of how we should engage in public debate. I think your own governor here, Josh Shapiro, has done the same thing. When I was president, in the aftermath of tragedies, when Dylan Roof went into a black church and, based on his own words, shot a group of folks who were engaged in Bible study and who had invited him in. And according to him, it was for racist reasons. As President of the United States, my response was not, who may have influenced this troubled young man to engage in that kind of violence, and now let me go after my political opponents and use that.
He's saying that's what Trump doing.
George Bush. Again, I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff, but he is a good, gracious man, and one of the, I thought, most commendable things that he did after 9/11, the most horrific thing to happen in the United States during the course of my lifetime, in my memory, in the aftermath of this terrible tragedy, made a point. We are going to go after the people who perpetrated this. But he explicitly went out of his way to say, we are not at war against Islam, and systematically and repeatedly talked about how we can't use this as a way to divide and target fellow Americans.
Basically saying that Trump is doing the complete opposite. Obama is basically saying Trump is using it as like a weapon, guys. What do y'all think about that? I'm just saying.
So when I hear not just our current president, but his aides, who have a history of calling political opponents vermin, enemies, who need to be targeted, that speaks to a broader problem that we have right now. And something that we're going to have to grapple with, all of us, whether we're Democrats, Republicans, independents. We have to recognize that on both sides, undoubtedly there are people who are extremists and who say things that are contrary to what I believe are America's core values. But I will say that those extreme views were not in my White House. I wasn't embracing them.
Throwing shots at Trump.
I wasn't empowering them. I wasn't putting the weight of the United States government behind extremist views.
Throwing shots at Trump.
Is when we have the weight of the United States government behind extremist views, we've got a problem.
All right, so that was some of how Trump felt about, you know, what's going on with the people losing their jobs and things of that nature. You know, speaking opposite of what people want them to say. You know, got them losing their jobs out here, guys. And Trump's the freedom of speech, man. That is what is at stake right now. You know, that's what we seeing a lot of the back and forth behind is the freedom of speech, guys. Yeah, man. Man, I'm telling y'all, man. Yeah, it's repercussions behind what you say these days. You know, you can't just say what you want to say no more. It's censorship going on everywhere, guys. And Trump and them pulling a lot of strings, allegedly. All right, so some more on this Charlie Kirk situation, man, since everybody's talking about it. I most definitely caught wind of one of Charlie Kirk's close friends, guys. Candace Owens, who used to be down with Trump now. Yeah, she's against Trump now in so many words. She don't like the direction that the movement is going, so she done basically separated herself. But she was good friends with Charlie Kirk, guys. She had her own opinion about what's going on with him. Said that Charlie Kirk was allegedly, you know, at odds with some real wealthy people, some real wealthy people, guys, billionaires. Yeah, that's what she said, man. Let's get a little bit into what Candace Owens had to say about Charlie Kirk and what's going on, guys. She say they are lying about Charlie Kirk. What could she possibly? Oh, let's go. This is his friend, guys. Let's hear what she had to say. This might serve up something real good for them conspiracy theorists out there.
Misrepresentations entirely, and I don't really see the reason for that. First and foremost, to let you know, last week was not a dream. Charlie Kirk, my friend, is dead, and he was publicly executed. I want to make that clear. Charlie Kirk was publicly executed.
She says executed. Other people say it was assassination. They're using big, heavy words, guys. I'm just saying. But she was real close to Charlie Kirk, and she most definitely had an opinion that was different from everybody else's. Let's go.
Before the world. And as we are all searching for answers, the ones that are being supplied to us are not making a lot of sense. And some people, I would say, are speaking too much, are speaking on behalf of other people. I don't like it. I will say something that I think brought the world a lot of relief, also, you know, sadness. We were grieving with her, was when his wife, Mrs. Erica Kirk, addressed not just the nation, but the entire world. Her words were very powerful. And we just have a very brief portion of her remarks, which you should pursue in their entirety. But here she is.
If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before.
Let's take a second to click those 3 dots, guys. Get those likes up. Click the 3 dots, hit the thumbs up. If you're on a mobile device, double tap your screen. This is Candace Owens talking about what really went on with Charlie Kirk.
You have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country.
This is Charlie's wife, guys.
In this world, you have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
Prayers for her family, guys. Prayers for her family.
To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die.
Beautiful, powerful words. Charlie had just one wife. What we got to see across this weekend is that there were so many people around the world, like she said, who were deeply moved by Charlie Kirk throughout their lives and, of course, have been deeply moved by this tragedy. And what she is describing there, that fire, a lot of us are feeling it. I am definitely feeling it. I had a very tough weekend. I will say this, my entire life, I've not been much of a crier. It is not my choice emotion. I'm not a person who bursts into tears, and some people are like that. This weekend, I didn't just cry, I wept. I wept for Charlie, obviously. I didn't make it through the tribute to him on Friday, and for those of you who wanted to see me in a moment of weakness, that was delivered to you. Fair. Yeah, I watched my friend get shot in the neck. Yeah, that's what happened. I just want to say that he was publicly executed again before the world. The question is why, right? You know, when you are in a state of grief, you go through a lot of emotions, and I'm arriving right now at a lot of anger. The audacity of some people. It has taken much restraint and prayer, and I had to speak with a priest. I had to go to confession. These emotions that I am having, wanting to respond with Charlie in his own words, really. People that are coming forward and saying this is what he thought and this is how he should be remembered. It just feels really inappropriate to me. I didn't know what to do other than to scroll through messages between me and Charlie, regarding which there are a ton of them. And kept going back and watching the many videos of us dancing to the song Power. And it felt appropriate to reach out to Ye, speaking about things, talking about his mode when he wrote the song. You know, when you wrote the song Power, why did we have it as our hype song? Because the song is about the ability to find it within yourself to become what you know you are capable of becoming inside of a matrix, when you just realize everything is dishonest, that everything is performative, that people are dishonest, that they are going to try
See, she got a lot on her chest, guys. She got a lot on her chest.
Stop you from being great. In fact, it's the end of the song. The question that he asks at the end of the song, that's the most important. Ye asks, do you have the power to let power go? Do you have the power to say no to power? You know, I told you guys that Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation at the end, and all of the usual suspects were really angry that I hinted towards that. What do you mean? You know,
now she is his close friends, guys. She's close friends with Charlie, guys. Yeah, she has a different outlook than everybody else, man.
Say that. They were attacking me, trying to make me fearful to speak out and speak about the things that I know. I'm not feeling very fearful right now.
Whoa.
I am, like I said, very angry. And I found, Charlie's favorite portion of the song. I'll show you the text between him and I, because this feels very relevant right now. This is, again, lyrics.
This is the text between Charlie Kirk, guys, and basically Candace Owens. You know, this is a text message that he done wrote to her before all of this happened, guys.
Directly from the song Power, but I just needed time alone with my own thoughts, got treasures in my mind, but couldn't open up my own vault. My childlike creativity, purity, and honesty is honestly being crowded by these grown thoughts. Reality is catching up with me. Taking my inner child, I'm fighting for custody with these responsibilities that they entrusted me. And that's a moment where he is really speaking about how hard it is. Like when you're saying, no, this is what I believe. And they say, you're not allowed to believe that. You feel like you are fighting for custody of yourself. And I want to be very clear that I believe, in fact, I know that towards the end, Charlie was fighting for custody of himself. I want to say that. I want to say that plainly. And there are lies that are being told and they need to be slapped down right now.
Fighting for custody of himself. What is going on?
There's one person who's been out there acting like...
Does somebody have control of Charlie?
Like he is a widow, you know, just saying the absolute most, tweeting first about what happened to Charlie, following it minute to minute, you know, and doing hits in a foreign country, right? Like making time to do hits on Fox News, 2 of them. Bibi Netanyahu who's fighting, I think, like an 84 front war with everyone, made a lot of time for Charlie Kirk. You would have thought they were the best of friends, as close as him and Trump were. But I will say I don't recall Erica mentioning Bibi Netanyahu in her speech. The way he's presenting it is like he was I mean, this is just the worst loss for him, but I don't think that is the truth. In fact, I know for a fact that he is misrepresenting some things that happened there towards the end.
Oh,
so let's at first listen to what Bibi Netanyahu, just one day, less than 24 hours after Charlie died, what Bibi Netanyahu had to say on Fox News. Take a listen.
We're just heartbroken.
This is who she's
Myself,
talking about. That's
my
the
wife,
Israel dude.
my family, my son, actually, and his 2000.
Ain't that the Israel dude right there, you know, that's speaking right now? I think that's the Israel dude.
19 visit to Israel, had lunch with him and his wife, Erica. We're shattered first as human beings because a great human being.
So she feel like Israel got ties to this? Remember, allegedly, they were saying that before. You know, they was talking about Israel. Now, Candace, his friend, is talking about this guy. He most definitely like the Israel president or something like that. Let's go.
Taken from us. Was an extraordinary friend. He said, he wrote me a letter on May 2nd this year. He said, one of my greatest joys as a Christian is advocating for Israel and forming alliances to defend Judeo-Christian civilization. A few weeks before.
And there I was when they were saying that, saying, no, I don't think Israel got nothing to do with it. Candy like Abu it.
The tragedy yesterday. I called him and I spoke to him and I said, please come to Israel. I invited him to Israel. And sadly, that visit will not take place. But he was a defender of our common Judeo-Christian civilization. He was unbelievably excited to walk in the footsteps of Jesus here. He valued our bond, the bond between America and Israel. He did so many things to defend free speech. He had his truth. He stood up for it. But he said, you can come and debate me. He invited that debate.
Now, I told y'all they were saying he was like a freedom fighter for freedom, basically for freedom of speech. And you heard the Israel dude just say that as well. This is crazy. So if he was fighting for freedom of speech, why are so many people getting censored?
He didn't invite the violence, the horrible violence that tried to silence him. And this is a worldwide problem. The people on the extremes, the Islamists, the radical Islamists, and their union with the ultra progressives, they often speak about human rights. They speak about free speech, but they use violence to try to take down their enemies. Whether it's President Trump, who's been almost assassinated twice, or they try to kill me here too. But they got Charlie Kirk, and it's just heartbreaking.
Who is they, BB?
Who is they? Who is they? Let's talk about it, Candace.
We don't have to actually speak conspiracies. I'm just wondering, because you said a lot there, but it really sounded like it was about BB trying to establish a narrative that we saw reinforced by a lot of people.
She say, who is they? We thought it was just him, Tyler Robinson. But the old dude said they. Candace like, who is they? Put a name on it.
That Charlie kind of made it almost sound like he died for Israel. I mean, Trump's account even tweeted out a photo of Charlie and an American flag and also an Israeli flag, a bit of AI used, like this is just who Charlie was. He says Judeo-Christian values. He spoke to him 2 weeks ago. Again, you would think he was busy fighting this 97,000 front war, but no, he's letting you know that he just randomly picks up the phone and calls Charlie Kirk and invites him to Israel? Why would people do that? It seems like maybe there's a little more to the story.
Then they picked up invited him to Israel. Invited Charlie to Israel? She said it seems like it's a little bit more to this story.
No, there definitely is a little bit more to the story. First and foremost, that letter he is holding up, he is severely misrepresenting. Those sentences are real, but I am calling upon Bibi Netanyahu, the dear friend to Charlie Kirk, to publish the letter's entire contents. Don't start with just 2 sentences. Publish the entire thing. You're holding it. I'm saying you're severely misrepresenting the contents, that in May, Charlie was concerned about Israel and their influence on American politics and how they were pushing things that he felt were in conflict with his beliefs, free speech. Here in America, Bibi's holding it up like Charlie just in May said, hey, you know what? I just want to write a love letter to Israel. That's how it was presented. Would you guys agree? That's not how it happened. Now, regarding that phone call and that invite, that also needs to be contextualized. And I'm going to do that. But first, Skylar, can we bring in a clip of Charlie from a month ago speaking about the kind of pressure that he was under, because I think that will also help to further contextualize this. Take a listen.
I'm an American citizen. yes, I want.
So this is Charlie basically talking about his frustrations, guys, and what he was going through leading up to his passing.
Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian, but like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megan, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been so unfair. They were coming after you after a turning point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
More talk about Israel, guys. This is why people are saying what they saying.
No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper-paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megan. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
No, it's not defensible to be dumb, and he was under an increasing amount of pressure, not just people telling
Who was pressuring Charlie?
him, oh, well, I'm upset with who you're inviting, but flat out telling him that he was not allowed to invite certain people to his events. They were threatening to pull out money. Charlie was getting a lot of really nasty text messages, and many of them pertaining to Tucker.
Remember, I told y'all he was under pressure. Let Candace tell it by wealthy billionaires.
A lot of really nasty text messages, and many of them pertaining to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, but Tucker Carlson was really the focus when it
Tucker Carlson, his name came back up again. Let's go, Candace.
came to America Fest. How could Charlie allow these debates about Israel to take place? How could he allow Dave Smith, who, by the way, is Jewish, how could how could Charlie allow this other position to meet the stage? Because obviously when people start to hear the debates, what Dave Smith is saying sounds so rational, but it was up to Charlie to not allow those things to happen. And that amount of pressure towards the end, as you see that conversation he had with Meghan was just a month before he lost his life, really, I would say, reached a pinnacle of sorts on the matter of what Tucker Carlson actually said on that stage. Tucker Carlson, while he was on that stage at Turning Point, brought up Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman is a billionaire, obviously. He is also an extremely litigious billionaire.
Bill Ackman, a billionaire, could that be who she talking about?
And Bill Ackman was on Charlie about comments that Tucker Carlson had made on that stage. Tucker Carlson specifically asked the question, where does Bill Ackman's money come from? Who is this guy? Actually, who is this guy that has this much influence? And like I said, Bill Ackman was not happy about this. And so I would like to contextualize Bibi. Again, these are things Bibi brought up publicly, which he didn't have to. He didn't have to bring up the letter. He didn't have to bring up the phone call, but he chose to do this less than 24 hours after Charlie Kirk was shot. Personally, Bibi, I would have appreciated if you guys used all of your spyware, you'd spying on us for years, to maybe track down the killer, but I guess this is where you thought it was best to do a little propaganda for Israel would be better than us helping us track down the killer.
Oh, she said a little propaganda for Israel.
But anyway, so Bibi Netanyahu in that phone call, what took place was a couple of weeks ago before Charlie lost his life. Charlie was in the Hamptons and he had more than one event, but he had essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman. Because Charlie's rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no. This is not the route that you should be going on. And Charlie was surrounded by his friends, his quote unquote friends. Bill Ackman was very upset and threats were made. That is what I am told.
Threats were made. Man, Candace say she putting it all out there. She say this is what really happened with Charlie.
And I will tell you that I am very happy for Bill Ackman to dispute this narrative. In fact, he was asked to dispute this narrative. Max Blumenthal went out to him today, and Bill Ackman came back and said, I have receipts I can show you. And he did not provide the receipts. This is not how it went down. I know it went down this way. I'm waiting for one of them to go on record.
She said, show the receipts. She putting it out there. Somebody come debunk what it is that she's saying. She's putting that challenge out there. Let's go, Candace.
And to say that it didn't go down this way. It was at this time that Bibi Netanyahu was called and Charlie was invited to Israel. This was an under duress situation, I would say, because I've been in these situations before. When I started asking very sensible questions about Israel, as someone who had dedicated her political life to supporting Israel, many times alongside Charlie Kirk, I was met with the very same pressure. And just like Charlie was being invited to Israel, I was invited somewhere else. And when this arrived to me, it felt like a threat. You know, I gotta tell you that. It felt like a threat. Like, not like, hey.
Ooh-wee, man, Candace say, hey, it felt like a threat. Now, remember, she said that Israel had Charlie under pressure, too. She kind of felt the pressure a little bit, too. She said she took it like a threat. You go to talking on Israel, you better watch your mouth.
They come here and we can educate you because you're my friend. More like, this is your last chance. That's how it felt to me. I can't speak to how it felt to Charlie. And I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment. A ton of money. Maybe would fund it, you know. Spend tons of money. And Turning Point, I guess, if it needed to go to a higher level, would have gone to an even higher level than it already was at. And I know for a fact that Charlie denied that funding. That Charlie denied, and what Bibi didn't include there,
Charlie turned down a whole lot of money. Oh, wow. Hey, man, is y'all picking up what Candace is putting down?
Declined to go to Israel for, I would describe this as like, you know, re-education camp. You know, we've seen it. You made an uh-oh, but we can help you. You know, we just need you to come out to Auschwitz and take a picture. Yeah. We just need you to come to the Holocaust Museum and take a photo. We just need you to go to Israel and we can make this better. Charlie said no to Bibi. Okay. Bill Ackman, if you would like to dispute that, I would love to hear what you say happened.
Oh, she issuing that challenge again. Yeah, she looks serious to me.
Because our sources and what we have, it's solid. Okay, there were conversations that took place, messages that were sent at that time, and they are solid. So I decided another person that was there, and I am not surprised this person was there. If you've been listening to my show, Seth Dillon. I was going to Seth Dillon.
She just throwing them names around like it ain't nothing, y'all. She is putting names and addresses on it.
And I decided to message him last night.
Not a bunch of false allegations, you know, where I ain't going to tell y'all, but she is putting direct addresses on this.
About this Hamptons meeting. And Seth Dillon, who is normally very quick with a response, has not yet been able to respond. I'll show you this text message chain. And I want to be clear, I am not someone who normally publicizes text messages. But my friend was shot in the neck. And I'm just not really in the state right now to be polite when it comes to the answers that I am demanding, okay? This is me out to Seth Dillon last night. I sent him Bill Ackman's tweet because, you know, he tweeted, I feel incredibly privileged to have spent a day and shared a meal with Charlie Kirk this summer. He was a giant of a man. I said, any comment on this one, Seth? He didn't answer last night. This morning I said, need a comment ASAP, please. He didn't answer.
Oh, Candace is doing her own investigation.
Then I followed that up and I said, trying again here, you were present when Ackman lost his mind on Charlie and when Bibi invited him to Israel and Charlie refused. Text messages immediately following this meeting are circulating. I find Ackman's statement, as though the meeting was somehow cordial, to be incredibly disturbing. Are you at all disturbed by that tweet? Do you feel, as I do, that this tweet significantly betrays the defined purpose and mood of his, and I presume your, final meeting with Charlie Kirk? ? He was unable to speak to me, but he did place some frantic calls to Turning Point USA. Yeah. You see, I went out to Seth, but I also went out to two other people who were at this meeting, and nobody is willing to go on record. They're all messaging each other, trying to figure out a coordinated response to say that, no, this was all quite cordial, but no one wants to go on record and describe it as cordial because they know someone's leaking, because someone's got a guilty conscience about what happened at the Hamptons. So,
man, what happened at the Hamptons, issuing all these, challenges. Candace say, man, what they putting down, she not picking up. It's not making sense. She went with something that makes more sense to her.
I will again put it out there, Seth, Bill Ackman, and to the other individuals who I have not yet named, but who are going to be named later this week. We're at the Hamptons when Charlie was put under pressure, when Bibi Netanyahu called him and invited him to Israel, again, in a move that when it happened to me, and it wasn't by Bibi Netanyahu, felt to me like a laced threat. I am inviting you guys, I will give you my platform, to come clear matters up and tell us what really happened, because, I think Charlie...
the conspiracy theorist is finna run wild after this.
Was definitely on the brink of changing some of his perspectives. And I can tell you factually, Charlie was praying the rosary. Charlie was going to Mass. One of my last conversations with Charlie was me joking with him saying, just make the last step, okay? You are, I said specifically, you're too smart to be a Protestant. Just take the last step, Charlie. He says, ha ha. He was speaking about Mary. And typically, when those steps start taking place, you stop referring to yourself, as I did, as a Judeo-Christian. Again, it is mystifying why, Bibi was out there doing the absolute most to make sure that Charlie was basically remembered as, I would argue, like a Jew. Has not been yet mentioned. I didn't hear that. Erica was very clear that Charlie was a Christian. Right, I believe Charlie obviously was very much a Christian, and that things are not being told truthfully. In fact, I will also call upon, since we're having fun, Turning Point USA to release the audio of what Charlie Kirk, because I was in communication with Charlie at this time, because I knew exactly which donors were pressuring him and why. Exactly which people that they were insisting Charlie allowed to speak at his event and why, when Charlie did not necessarily want those people to speak at his event. Okay.
Are you saying these are the people behind it, Candace? Let us know.
I'm calling upon Turning Point to release the footage of what Charlie said to Tucker Carlson before he hit the stage. Before, all of that craziness and the response to Tucker.
You talked to him before he hit the stage. Oh, wow.
Carlson's remarks played out. Charlie was mic'd. Surely Tucker Carlson was mic'd. I know Charlie's mic'd the entire time at those events, so I'm asking for everyone to just release Charlie in his own words. I feel like that's pretty fair, right? Let's stop saying how Charlie felt, and instead, if you're going to hold up the letter, release it in its entirety, okay? Why don't you release your messages, Bill? I'll release mine. Let's all just be very forthcoming about what took place. In fact, I'm calling upon Tucker Carlson to speak about that. I know what Charlie said to him, and I am sure Tucker Carlson won't lie about it. What did Charlie say to you? Dave Smith, what did Charlie say to you? What was Charlie? Did he seem like he was treading in the direction? Like, do we feel like what Bibi is saying is honest representation of what Charlie was going through? This is what I want. I think that the thing that we need here, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Now, does all of this mean that Bibi Netanyahu and that this somehow proves that Israel was involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk? No, we have no evidence of that. We can't say that because there is no evidence of that. But I don't like little lies. That's what I will say. Something that I always say in my household is, when there is one lie, there's 20. There's no reason to lie. Bibi could have gone on Fox News and he could have told the truth. He could have said truthfully that Charlie Kirk has always loved Israel. He has always loved Israel as the Holy Land. He's been here many times, and throughout his career, he has been a faithful supporter.
You might not be saying it, but you sure implying it, Candace. Yeah, you implying it, though.
Of Israel. That's not what he said. Okay? He talks about the phone call and didn't give it the proper context. He held up the letter and didn't give it the proper context. And lies by severe omission, I'd like to be very clear, are lies. Lies by severe omission are lies. You're not going to gaslight us and tell us to shut up or call us anti-Semitic for pointing out the fact that Charlie was having a change of heart about the tactics that Israel was using in America, and that he felt when he had left that meeting that he had effectively been blackmailed. Again, my platform is yours, Seth Dillon. My platform is yours, Bill Ackman. So if you want to clarify it, we can do it in front of millions, okay?
Oh, wow.
And I think that that's what people deserve, because everyone has PTSD. We watched Charlie get shot in the throat. That feels a little bit symbolic. It feels like they wanted us to know that his voice was problematic. Again, I don't know who they is. After we take this brief break, we're going to go through the investigation, which seems to have a lot of inconsistencies and holes in it. And we're definitely not yet at the bottom of what, in fact, took place. But I do know that I severely distrust people who rush to misrepresent things. And it's not a good sign when somebody has to ask you, as Greta Van Susteren asked Bibi Netanyahu in his secondary hit regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's not a good sign if somebody even has to ask if you did have anything to do with the assassination. It doesn't make you a great person, okay? And that's what she asked him. Take a listen.
Before I let you go, I want you to address one thing, and it's just the absurdity of it. Some of the internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie Kirk murder, and I don't believe it for 1 second, but I want you to make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. That's insane. Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing it's not only insane. I think it's so.
They saying they ain't have nothing to do with it.
Absurd, so stupid, and so ridiculous. You can't believe that people are saying that. They just found the perpetrator. They'll get to the bottom of this, but they go. They have no limits. When you hate Jews, when you hate the Jewish state, you're willing to say anything and promote all these absurd rumors. And by the way, they're willing to kill us all the time. I mean, that's what they're doing. And over the centuries, when Jews, especially in the Middle Ages, the horrific Middle Ages, the worst things were said about Jews you couldn't possibly believe. We were poisoning the wells. We were drinking the blood of Christian children. You name it. I mean, these things, that continued actually up to the Holocaust. The Nazis said the same thing. We're carrying vermin, we're spreading disease. And people believed it. And every time they believed it, this was a prelude to a greater and greater massacre, culminating with the worst massacre of them all, the Holocaust.
Well, he's mentioned the Holocaust. Guess we can't prod the narrative any further, guys. Holocaust, so everybody's just stopped talking about anything. Hey, he's the victim. It's absurd. It's just absurd. The Holocaust happened. You heard him. We're sick of this shit.
Whoa.
We really are.
Whoa!
And, there will be no narrative that I will not prod when it comes to figuring out why people are lying
just dropped the cuss
about the
word,
stage that Charlie was in when it came to the topic of Israel. Again, you can examine Charlie in his own words. He was starting to talk about topics that you're not really allowed to talk about when you take money and big checks are being written. That pressure was increasing every single day. In fact, he was telling the truth even about Jeffrey Epstein. Take a listen.
Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell.
Man, Charlie, you might have been getting, stepping on too many toes, dog.
Who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, that there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz-kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing.
You over there speaking on Epstein, okay.
New that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis. Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful people on the planet.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems to conflict with Bibi's narrative a little bit. Yeah, just a tiny bit. I do want to say this. It's important because I am angry. I will obviously, I pray to move on from this phase, but it's a fire in my belly right now. To those of you who think that you are going to replace Charlie Kirk, okay? Kings are born. You don't just get to depose and tell us that we're going to follow this individual, okay? I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA. You put a shill in Charlie Kirk's chair, in Charlie Kirk's company, and you try to tell us to follow that individual, I will be an enemy of you. There will be nothing that can stop me, okay? And I want you guys to understand, this is not a threat, this is a promise. There will be nothing that can stop me. I will release every single text message. So to those of you who are trying that and seeing the messages, I am telling you to back off right now. Like right now, don't do it, okay? Don't you think about it. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly who you were that were exerting pressure. Don't you pretend to be noble now and say nice things about Charlie Kirk and think you're going to slide into his chair, okay? Over my dead body, which I'm sure can be arranged. Now, I'm going to take a pause. We're going to go to some sponsors, and then we're going to get into what we are being told by the agencies. There are definitely some holes, maybe more is coming out. And at preborn.com/GNO additional brands dying your active compounds exactly where you need them most. Which had to say about everything that we're hearing is pretty much all of us right now. Take a listen.
The so-called FBI, something's wrong. I know I shouldn't do this. I'm risking an awful lot to go up against this FBI, the MAGA FBI. Something's very wrong with what I just heard. I mean, I watched it. I was hoping that they had caught the bastard who shot Charlie. So we saw a video of a person jumping off the roof. It looked very legitimate to me. However, there was no rifle in his hand. Now,
they calling out the inconsistencies. Yeah, man. The conspiracy theorists is going to run with this one.
Mauser does not break down very easily, incidentally, for those of you who know weapons. Something's wrong with the whole thing. They're trying to claim he removed the barrel from the Mauser and fit the receiver and stock in his backpack and barrel in his pants, like all in 2 seconds. It is not easy to remove a Mauser barrel or index it after reinstalling and remain accurate. We are not hearing or seeing reality. And by the way, the photo of the rifle allegedly left in the woods has the barrel installed. So we're supposed to believe a guy is on the run after killing Charlie Kirk, and he pauses in the woods to reinstall a barrel, and then he leaves it for us to find, the FBI to find. I don't believe a word of it. I shouldn't do this. I know I'm putting myself at risk, but I can't take it anymore. I can't take the bullshit from this fucking government. It's lying to us.
Oh, wow.
Something's wrong. Something's so wrong. It's sickening.
Sickening is definitely the right adjective, I think, to describe how a lot of us are feeling. And all I know how to do is to gather information, to research, and to investigate. And nothing is making sense. Now, it could not be making sense because we've not arrived at the conclusion. The FBI, I will say, has recently come out and said they're looking for another person. Good, because what we have so far obviously cannot be it. I feel, I was insisting that everybody read that book, Chaos, about the Charles Manson murders. And what we learn from that book is that if the government does want to hide something, what they do is they give you so much information that you can't, you don't even know what's real. So many different possible ways that things could have gone down, so many different manners, so many people speaking, so many publications publishing. And it's just meant to be chaotic, to drive you crazy and to just go, okay, I'm just going to accept whenever the authority says something and not prod any further. We can't allow that to happen.
They should be saying they got the wrong guy.
Here, I won't allow that to happen here because this something terrible has traumatized the world, okay? And I feel as though when it comes to this, the media, the government, the talking heads, everyone is confusing us about what actually took place with Charlie Kirk, this event, how it got set up. I even would like to know who picked the venue, okay? Here is what we know thus far, and I will tell you who the exact source is and what video they presented.
Let's go, Candace.
The first bit of proof regarding that day happened at 8:07 a.m. According to TMZ, they have footage, and we're going to show you it, which shows a man at 8:07 a.m., so hours before the shooting, wearing a maroon t-shirt and light shorts, as you were seeing on your screen right now, hands in his pockets, that is just walking outside of university grounds, okay? Now, Governor Cox tells us that at 8:29, which is an interesting timeline, Governor Cox tells us that that is when the shooter, Tyler Robinson, arrived at UVU campus in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, and a black hat with a white logo. So essentially, he's saying that what that person we saw walking down the street right there arrived on campus at 8:29. I'm going to allow you to hear Governor Cox say that himself. Take a listen.
Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes.
So what's interesting, already confusing to me, is that TMZ shows him already walking. We're supposed to believe he walked, parked his car, and then walked onto campus. They're saying that after that video that you just saw of him walking, he got into his car and then drove to campus, and then at 8:29 p.m. on campus is when he arrives. Already confusing, but let's just keep going. We don't need to poke holes. Let's just keep going with the narrative. Then we're back to TMZ, and they released...
I don't think she's going along with what these people are putting down.
...that at 11:49 a.m., they have footage of the shooter who has now changed his outfit. We're supposed to gather that, again, on a doorbell cam, and he's in a different outfit. So this is 11:49 a.m. Charlie Kirk has not yet been shot. Take a look at this. Okay, and for those of you that are listening to this on audio, you are going to see someone who appears to be limping, okay? So maybe he changed his outfit at some point and now he's limping. And the idea that we're seeing floated is that he's limping because he's holding the gun in his pants, okay? That's kind of what's been floated, okay? That has not particularly come from the feds. I don't believe so, but he's limping now and he's got on a different outfit. Okay. 11:52 a.m., and we were actually going to check this, by the way, but I think that we had the FBI say that was when he arrived on campus. Maybe that's not accurate. But so let me just skip off of that, because Skylar, we should actually look to research that. But at 12:23 p.m. is when Charlie Kirk is shot, okay? And 12:23 p.m. is when in that same minute is when we have footage that shows us that as the crowd ducks, and it's blurry, the shooter runs across the rooftop. I'm going to tell you why that's significant. So 12:23, Charlie Kirk is shot, and we are going to have an angle of that and the image of the black person.
Well, break it down, Candace. Let's go.
In black, rather, that is running across the rooftop. Take a look at this. They're down, clearly. And right away, look at that, okay? And we have another, so the footage shows us, there's another actually clip that I was looking for, Skylar, there, that it actually shows him running across the rooftop. You guys may have seen it. The reason why that footage is problematic, as you start to see them ducking and then you see the shooter immediately start moving across the rooftop, is that their narrative is that he disassembled the gun and then started running. So that's a bit confusing to us of how he was able to do that so quickly. An unbelievable amount of hunters, guns, people that reached out to me and said, that just didn't happen. They have, exactly as Michael said, that did not happen. There is no way that happened. That cannot be accurate. Then, and this is obviously the craziest.
Let's go, Candace.
Part of everything, we have Decoy Boy, right? So it happens and suddenly this guy, George Zinn, gets arrested. He's making noise.
Which they got this dude on child corn, put a P in front of this instead of the C. They got him. He done got pulled up on some charges since he got arrested.
He's signaling that he's somehow shot the guy, and at 12:52 it gets announced that the suspect is in custody, so nobody needs to look around anymore because this suspect is in custody. But actually, I guess George Zinn just does that. He just does that, I guess, like just wants people to think he's done something, but he hasn't actually done anything. That again to me feels like he's a decoy. Like more people are involved in this, and I will say that we don't know.
She feels like more people are involved, guys. This wasn't a one-man job.
But we know that something's wrong with this. Then at 12:29 p.m., we have TMZ showing us that there's a person running through the backyard. They are saying this appears to be the suspect running. Okay, now we're going to show you that clip. It is very grainy. So they're alleging that that's him. We couldn't confirm that, and the feds have not confirmed that. But it does show you that someone's running across the back. Again, that's at 12:29 p.m. I don't know. We don't know. I'll give you some other facts that you should probably know just in general that has been thus far confirmed. The weapon, they say, was found in the woods and it was wrapped by a dark towel. Okay, now, when they gave us a photo of that weapon, it was fully assembled. So this is kind of what Michael Savage is saying. He's saying, okay, so then they reassembled it, or maybe the feds did. Maybe they're going to clarify that they reassembled it for a photograph, but we are told that it was found wrapped in a dark towel. Then we have been told that a screwdriver was found on the roof. So they're sticking to this implication that he perhaps undid this gun while he was on the rooftop, and he,
Candace says impossible.
Wanted to make sure he unscrewed it with the screwdriver, left the screwdriver behind, but took the gun, but then left the gun in the woods. Okay. Then we get, and this has not been contextualized, and I can't wait until it is contextualized, we get photos that are the shooter. This is when the FBI came out and said he's in a stairwell. We don't know exactly where that stairwell is. He's in outfit number 2. So the outfit change has happened, okay? There's no timeline again, but we can discern that there is no weapon that is in his pant leg because we can see him bending one leg in one photo and we can see him bending the other leg in another photo. So we're unclear about this. What is clear is that there is a ton of cameras on this campus. There is a lot of footage that they could release to make the public feel better about this. I mean, tons of different angles. I don't know why we're getting grainy shots at all. There have been tons of people online going through the tech stack of UVU campus and saying like, hey, why are we getting grainy? Why don't you give us clearer images? In fact, you guys could show us an image here, 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 here. They're not doing that. They're just going with this like grainy image and saying that's it. And you can get this grainy image, but we can't tell you much more. Now, again, it's an open investigation. They're under a lot of pressure. There is no question. I'm certainly not going to let this go. And I want the public to not let this go because you were spiritually impacted by watching a man be publicly executed. And you need to keep that energy and understand that something is very wrong here. Nothing they are saying feels good to me. Honestly, the thing that they said that felt the best to me is when they said that there's probably somebody else involved. That sounds about right. 2 people, maybe these aren't even the same people. Maybe the guy in the maroon is not the same as the guy in the black shirt. That would make sense because why change your outfit? Both of these look like you would blend in on a college campus. So why are you blending in twice? Does that make any sense to you? Why would you change your outfit? It's like a random fashion show while you're going to murder someone. I just want to change my outfit for funsies. And then we hear that Tyler Robinson, when he is apprehended, it is communicated to us that he is wearing the maroon outfit. Now, I want to be clear. They said this was 33 hours later. So he changed his outfit, I mean, ostensibly because he wants to avoid detection would be the only thing that's, I think, is reasonable to assume. But then he changes back into the outfit that he was wearing before the shooting. For what reason? 33 hours later, like no shower time? He just wanted them to know that it was him on the camera. That's not clear to me. Why are we changing outfits? Are we just 2 different people? I think it's reasonable to ask that question. Are there
trying to go undetected, Candace? That's why.
2 different people that are involved. Another thing that's not clear to me is that the story that we were told was that Tyler Robinson allegedly, after speaking with the pastor, his dad turned him in. Bill Ackman, probably $1 million, right? Thanks, Bill. You really cared about Charlie. And that money is now going to the father of this child who, after prayer and speaking to a pastor, they're saying, okay, well, he turned himself in. That we were told he turned himself in. Now we're being told that actually he hasn't confessed. So I'm just wondering, how do you turn yourself in without confessing? Because if I say my kid did it, that's enough for an arrest? What if the kid says he didn't do it?
Uh-oh.
I didn't do it. Dad says you did. Okay, how did they arrest him without a confession? I'm going to show you Governor Cox's statement where he says that the kid has not confessed. Take a listen.
I know you heard that report by Matt Gutman and this latest reporting in the New York Times that some of the suspects' acquaintances were allegedly talking to him online and joking and thought they recognized him from those early photos. Can you tell us anything about that this morning or anything further on the investigation?
Well, all we can confirm is that those conversations definitely were happening, and they did not believe it was actually him. It was all joking until he admitted that it actually was him.
And anything new on the investigation? You say he admitted that, confessed?
No, not again. He is not confessed to authorities. He is not cooperating. But all the people around him are cooperating, and I think that's very important. There were reports yesterday that we can confirm that that his roommate was indeed a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female. That's information that the FBI had mentioned yesterday. We can confirm that as well, and that he is cooperating with authorities as well.
Okay, so I'm just not entirely clear on this confession element. Did the pastor just say he did it? Did the father say he did it, but they didn't have any proof? Again, this is obviously everyone's investigating. We yield to them. Do I think this kid was involved somehow? Yeah. Do I think he did this alone? Absolutely not. This story makes entirely no sense. And then there's this random discord over Discord, okay? So Governor Cox came out and told us that there were messages about the rifle drop point, okay? Discord says not the same thing. Let's listen to Governor Cox say that on this social media app, Discord, they were discussing the rifle drop point. Take a listen.
Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits.
Okay. So he changed outfits. Again, unclear why he did that. Unclear why he would then put the outfit back on 33 hours later. Most people just shower within that time. I did receive contact from one of Tyler Robinson's classmates, and they said that was the strangest part to them. They told me that was the strangest part, the 33-hour putting on an outfit that he had on 33 hours early, because they described him as remarkably tidy. He was a tidy individual. So they that flagged them as weird. Just seems like a little extra work. Again, unnecessary, right? Completely unnecessary. You're getting nothing out of changing your outfit. We have a statement from Discord, which kind of disputes that. Discord says, in the course of our investigation, we identified a Discord account associated with the suspect, but have found no evidence that the suspect planned this incident or promoted violence on Discord, a spokesperson said in a statement. Again, maybe they need more time, and they're going to get more time. They're going to get a lot of time, because it will be never that I let this go. It will be absolutely never that I let this go. Everything just spiritually feels very wrong here. Yeah. It feels like we are being lied to by who? I am not sure. Are there some good guys? Of course, there's always good guys in government, but there are too many bad guys in government for me to feel good about this. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are obviously going to continue to follow this, to tighten up this timeline with the most up-to-date information that we can possibly have, everything that we could possibly learn about the father that is involved in this. I want to know more about the father. He's being described as a hero. He turned his son in. Okay, I don't trust anything right now. Okay, I trust absolutely nothing. I think everyone needs to be investigated. Every person.
She's calling it all into question. I told y'all.
That is even mentioned should be investigated. We have a right to do that, and we're going to continue to do that. All right, guys, before I get into some of your comments, I want to remind you guys about Pure Talk, because when was the last time that you bragged about your wireless company? Have you ever said to anybody, did you know that my wireless company gave 1,000 American flags to deserving vets, forgave $10 million in veteran debt, and my wireless company also raised almost $500,000 to prevent veteran suicide? In other words, when your wireless company is actually Pure Talk, you all your family. Everyone's a little hush hush right now and trying to manipulate me into not speaking. Now is not the time. No, it's the time. It's the time. You know what time? As soon as a bullet was lodged into his throat, it became time. So there you go. I hope that helps. A lot of people that I'm looking at, you know, I feel like you are not meant to watch your friend die in that way. It was so violent, and I am angry. So it's the time, okay? Anna writes, at AmFest 2023, I went alone at the PBD Live podcast. I stood there talking to a woman for the whole hour the show was going on. Talked to her about my heritage, Armenian, and she shared that she and her husband cared deeply about my people. At the end of the conversation, she let me know that she let me know she is Charlie's wife, Erica. She made me feel welcome when I was alone. God be with the Kirks. If there was anything that could rile Charlie up, it's questioning his moral integrity. Yeah, they are very, very good people. Charlie and Erica are fantastic people. Charlie did things the right way. And so watching these snakes, oh my, let me just stay calm. I'm just going to get through this. As if you're just going to slide into Charlie's chair. Don't do it. Okay? That's not even a threat. It's just a promise. I'll expose everything. I don't care.
She's gonna put it all on the table, guys.
I don't care. Sue me. Don't care. Do it. Okay? Liberty Bell writes, so many people are talking about Israel for the first time right now. How do we begin explaining this to people newly wondering about Israel? What is the best episode of yours to recommend to beginners? Okay. A lot to unpack there. The first thing that I want to say is I have been thinking about what I'm going to do to honor Charlie. How do I honor Charlie? The best way that I can honor Charlie is to insist upon parents that if you have the means, take your children out of these schools. All of them, okay? At that university, when Charlie was shot, someone stood up and cheered. You do not want your children to be in that environment spiritually. This is everywhere. This was a part of his movement, understanding there's an underground communist movement, and it is at all schools. I want to be very clear. So if you can, and I'm telling you, you can, okay, take your children out of these schools and homeschool. That's what I want. I want to build this legacy by encouraging people to homeschool. Okay. Now, in terms of specifically how people can learn about Israel, for me, judge them by their actions, how everyone feels when you're friendly with them. I mean, Dave Smith has a very good tweet about that. It's like all these people who supported them, and then suddenly they come under pressure to effectively lie or to go against their morality. That's not normal. There are so many books that can get you started on your journey, but if there's one that I would recommend everybody read, because you need to understand the beast that you're dealing with. Like, what kind of lies are willing to be told and sold? I would say right now, my book club, and you don't need to join that, but you should read The Assault on Truth. It's a good start, okay? To understand that Sigmund Freud is celebrated in schools as the father of modern... Okay, I need to calm down. I told the priest I would chill. I did. No, I didn't. I actually said I just needed time. But I understood that my anger was wrong. And priest told me that is like, everybody struggles with certain things. Mine is vengeance. I have to work on that. So I would like to apologize for my tone 10 seconds ago. IPO TV writes, it seems pretty clear what's happening here, and I'm shaking my head. I didn't follow Charlie, but was moved by his passing. A little something for security and no more over your dead body talk. We need you. Stay strong and safe. Thank you for saying that. And I'm here. I am here. I am obviously still not okay. I don't know if I'll ever be okay from having watched that, but I am focused. Mandy writes, Christ is King and hopefully is returning very soon. Tony Hill writes, I constantly pray for Charlie Kirk and his family as well as you and your family. Their plan is causing division in our country. We need to take what they did to Charlie and come together to fight their evil, not each other. Candace, we have your back. Yeah, I know. I've been a little snippy because it's really hard to see people, especially going back into like every message that me and Charlie ever shared that did nothing but try to destroy him. Like just the pretense of nobility stresses me out. It does. But I won't. Every week I will get better. And I'm trying. I am trying to be gracious and not angry. Anger is my choice emotion at this moment. Divine Counsel writes, Candace.
So Candace is very hurt, guys, behind what took place with her friend Charlie Kirk. She's not believing a lot of what's being put out. She says there gotta be more to it, guys. You know, Jimmy Kimmel done got fired because he spoke, you know, differently than what the popular opinion was, man. It's a lot going on behind Charlie Kirk, man. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all enjoyed the show. We most definitely done came to the end. Man, I gave y'all as much as I had. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all be safe out there. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Click those 3 dots. Hit that thumbs up. This is most definitely everything news. We brought y'all everything we done seen, including the story about David, I think it was, or Dave, and that 15-year-old girl that was discovered in his Tesla, guys. There were 5 law enforcement officials that were shot in Pennsylvania, guys. 3 of them passed, 2 of them survived, but they are in critical condition, guys. Yeah, man. I put it all in my title. It's most definitely all in the videos, man. Hey, man, I'm about to get up out of here. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I enjoyed y'all. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the new subscribers as well as the old subscribers. Shout out to my moderators. Y'all are most definitely some of the best in the game. Shout out to all my members. If you don't have one and you would like to become a member of this channel, man, all you got to do is double back, guys, and click any video, click the description, and hit join, guys. That's how you get a membership to this channel. I most definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all stay safe out there. You already know what time this is. Sidewalk Gang, checking out. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. I'm gone.